Welcome back to Patriot Dudes. We're all here this week, actually. No one's died or fallen down in a hole.
I didn't die this week.
Well,
That's an accomplishment. That's a weekly goal of mine.
how'd your finals go? Did you die?
I did pretty well. Well, I don't know how I did on my finals. I did pretty well, like, final grades-wise.
Oh, so that
A's and
means you must
B's.
have done, like, decently enough on your finals then.
Decently enough, yes.
There you
That's
go.
fair.
All right, that's
Yeah.
all that matters. I don't even know what I got for my final grades on any of my classes. I've not bothered to look yet.
Really.
I'm
Yeah,
not,
I
like,
don't-
afraid or anything, but I just do not care.
That's how I feel with final exams. Like, you asked how I did on my exams. I'm not sure on some of them because I just check the final grade, and if it's good enough,
Yeah, I'm
knowing
like,
how I did on the final
whatever.
doesn't matter.
Does not matter. Patrick, you mentioned something earlier about you mentioned something that you wanted to talk about, but I don't remember what it was.
What?
It was about your baseball sweatshirt you were wearing.
I didn't mention that like I want to talk about it. I was just
Was this
proud
something
that
else? Hang on.
There was definitely Yaman. You kept
baseball
saying like,
sweatshirt. No, I walked into the laundry room where Yalan was a second ago because I remembered that I got this thing from the thrift store.
No. It's not that. It's not that. You started talking about something, and I was like, shut up. Save it for the podcast.
oh,
What was it?
Was
it
it?
a movie or something?
No, it was like, oh, you were asking me like, what have I done since I got back?
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
it
that
is.
was a question, yes.
Okay. Well, when my parents picked me up from the airport, I immediately said, let's go to Chipotle. And we went to Chipotle like 20 minutes before they closed. And I felt like a huge asshole, but it was actually delicious. It was so good.
What, the one in Kingstown?
No, I went to the one over by where I live. Not
Oh,
by
yeah,
over
There's
Yeah,
got to
30
be one
minutes
closer to
away.
your
yeah,
house.
yeah. It's
and-
literally like
30 minutes for Chipotle.
Yeah, no. Yes, Pat, that's the
It's
only
worth the
Chipotle
wait.
in the entire area. No, I drove. It's right in between the airport and my house. So I just went there, and I also had I put root beer in my water cup because I'm a terrible human being.
Wow. I'm telling them. I'm going to call them.
That was the first time I've had root beer or Chipotle in like 4 months, and it was incredible. I fucking died. And then last night I got my first good night's sleep in like months. No
Why
interruptions.
couldn't you sleep there?
Because I lived
what
with
was
3 other people in the same room.
Oh,
And if that wasn't waking me up, the noise from the streets was, like cars and shit going by.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was never fun. But it was so dark, and it was so quiet in my room. It was absolutely incredible. I slept for like 12 hours. And then today, we went to Target, an American classic. That's where I picked up my Diet Dr. Pepper, and it wasn't as good, sadly. And then we went to Cheesecake Factory for dinner, and it was amazing. I missed American portions so much. Everything in Europe is so much smaller, including doors. Doors are a lot smaller in Europe.
I thought you were going to go food there.
No,
I was
no,
really
no.
expecting because we were on the doors. I took a bite of a door, and it tasted so different.
Yeah, it was so small, dude. Like I was not fulfilled by that door at all. But no, I've like concussed myself on so many doorways because I'm such a fucking lumbering giant. But yeah, so now I'm glad to come back to properly sized food and doors. So welcome back.
Did you just
Hi.
welcome yourself back?
Yeah, no one else was gonna do it.
Yeah, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
I've never been to a Cheesecake Factory. Fun fact.
I
Really?
fucking love cheesecake.
Yeah.
It
I don't like cheesecake, and I know
Cheesecake's
they have
really
a
good.
lot.
bitch.
a
They
lot
have
of other
yeah,
stuff, but-
okay. Well, like it is kind of like just a chain that excels at a stupidly large variety of things, and their portions are absolutely massive. So you honestly cannot go wrong at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, the thing with me is, I have yet to taste something that has cheese in it that is sweet that tastes good.
cream.
That's my thing.
That's just dairy though. Never mind.
Ice
That's,
cream.
you know,
I was
it's
like,
not-
do you put
it's
what
not
kind of
sweet.
ice cream are you eating?
Cheesecake ice cream, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Berries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Red velvet cheesecake.
True. I mean, I also thought cheesecake was like super gross. Like the concept of it was very gross. And even when I first started eating it, I would eat like I could only eat like half a slice before I was like, I'm good. Like this is too
This
weird.
is wrong. This
I'm
is
good.
this doesn't feel right.
Y'all
But now
bitches.
I'm just fucking addicted to cheesecake. Like,
I used to be like that with apple pie because
oh yeah,
it was a weird texture change from like bread and the sort of elixir that's created when you saute
the fruit.
the apples with the it's like the mixel stuff, but then the apples you'd bite into it, it would feel like a bug or something.
Yeah.
And now I really like it.
Yeah. Like
I can't do vegetables though. Cooked vegetables are gross.
You can't eat any vegetables.
When I eat chicken pot pies, I dissect them and take out all of the little vegetables. And when I make cup noodles, I take out all of freeze-dried vegetables.
Really?
I don't mind. I don't mind steamed vegetables. Like vegetables that become soft, I don't mind that. But when
like
they're
broccoli.
cooked and still crunchy,
I like that though. I need like a little bit of crunch in the vegetables. Like for example, I eat vegetables like all the time usually with dinner. Like asparagus, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, whatever. Like toss it with some olive oil, salt and pepper. Even garlic if you want to get fancy. Just like roast it in the oven for a bit, and it's like awesome. Like you cannot go
so
wrong.
hungry.
I like cauliflower.
So-
I like
I'm so
cauliflower.
sorry.
God, I'm so fucking hungry.
Cauliflower is great too. Cauliflower is awesome.
Cauliflower is good, yes.
Like what I would do usually, this is like my easy dinner that I would do whenever I cook is that I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but like whatever like steak or meat I was cooking in the pan or whatever, I would then like dump in like the vegetables into the leftover like fat and oils of the meat, and then I would like add in a little more oil, a little more salt and pepper, and it would taste incredible. So highly recommend that if you're looking to add more vegetables to your diet, because it's always good to be healthy.
You know what I've been thinking about a lot?
Wieners.
Besides that, people on my account who comment stupid bullshit. Who
What if Patrick
specifically
not thinking
one
about
has been
stupid
in
bullshit?
my brain a lot. This person commented on my most recent video I posted, "You really haven't accepted that Vine is dead. I'm not complaining though." What does that mean?
Yeah, lots to unpack there.
I'm not allowed to post on other things where it's like, man, he's really attached to the idea of Vine, even though this is longer than fucking.
Like, I didn't get that comment at all when you first sent it. I was like, he didn't mention Vine like at all in like the video. Like, what are you talking about? But I guess
It's weird that you're still posting on other platforms that are not at all related to Vine, even though Vine is dead. It's weird.
like
You still eat steak even though broccoli was outlawed? Shut the fuck up.
What?
Exactly. That's what I mean. What the fuck does that mean?
Did you reply to that person?
No.
I feel like half the time like someone says something dumb, you immediately
Because
reply like you
it
dumb
doesn't
fucking
seem
idiot.
it doesn't seem like they said it with a lot of venom in their heart. But
Right. If this person is listening right now, I bet they're like super hurt because they
They're
didn't
not
mean
listening.
to like. You're right. Nobody listens
they're
to
watching
this. But if
Vine
they were,
compilations for the 7,000th time.
oh my god.
Haven't accepted that Vine is dead. What does that mean? Fucking
You still make Vine quality content, you fucking scrub.
still haven't accepted that Vine is dead.
You gotta stop thinking about it. That person sent
All
me
right,
that.
then I'll move on to another
Pat,
one.
did
that
you
I
know
saw.
that Vine? Pat, are you gonna join Vine 2? Patrick, are you gonna join V2 when it comes out? Pat?
There's another one. This one I was making fun of Hawkeye because, you know, that's my entire existence. And the comment was from Daphne McCrack. Okay, but you look like a gay Captain America, so you're just jealous. In parentheses, pulled the jealous card.
What?
I don't know.
I don't-
Yaman, you mentioned this.
I
How
mentioned-
does
I didn't-
being
I didn't- I
gay
don't think
take
you-
away from being Captain America? Gotta say. And also, they're half right. I mean, in terms of sexuality.
It was funny because it was I replied something like, "You're like that big, strong, muscular, handsome dude, but gay."
Got that huge dick and you're
Didn't
super
make-
soldier, but you also
make any
like dick,
sense.
so that makes it weird.
Yeah.
Can you imagine seeing a gay person and surviving to tell the tale?
Oh, that was so funny when Michael said.
Fucking
Was
love
it Michael?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny.
All I said was, thanks, bro. But I hope they interpreted that as like, I see how what you said is intended as an insult, but that's definitely not an insult if you think about it. But I hope that they saw it that way, but they're definitely too dumb, so they're just like, oh, he's just letting it roll
Jesus.
down his back.
You're
Fuck this
really
person.
confident that they're not.
They're a fucking idiot. I looked at their profile, they're like 14.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that all of our audience is 14. I hate to break it to you.
Not true at
so-
all. That's mean to our audience. Not true at
that-
all.
They're at least 15
Okay.
by now, dude. Come on.
And he,
Oh, yeah,
We've
here's
been doing this
another.
for a year.
Here's another. This is just the Patrick's Comments Variety Hour, but this was in a little thread of comments stemming from one. I don't remember what the original one was because this is all the screenshot shows, but this one debater extraordinaire says, this is in regards to Hawkeye. He's not weak. He's just as good as the others. Plus, technically, he's Ronin now, who is even better. Either way, Clint is just as strong as then others. Got him.
He didn't back up his claims at all.
No, it was also a tiny little child as well. But my people, I didn't mention Ronan at all. All the whole video I think was like, we're getting the band back together. We're coming back as full strength with the Avengers. We're even gonna have Hawkeye now. And then I say like, oh yeah, that totally would have made the difference if we were fighting Thanos. He would have just started laughing, and in that moment of distraction, we would have gotten the upper hand, and then the thing ends. I didn't mention Ronan or that he has a sword now. Nothing changed. And every single person, from every person and their mother, mentioned that, technically he's Ronan now, and he's got a sword. Oh, gotcha. That makes a world of difference. What are you talking about? You fucking 5-year-old. It's just taking out the middleman. Using a bow is just stabbing someone from a distance. You've just
Right.
made it even harder to do.
I know, right? It'd be one thing if it was going from sword to bow.
Or a machine gun or something like that. But I don't want to digress into that because we made an entire video based on that. Anyway.
It's one of our most popular ones, isn't it?
I'm done.
Like most viewed.
Yeah, definitely.
Surprisingly, there's a lot of Hawkeye stands out there that will defend him till the death for no reason.
Even though Jeremy Renner is kind of a sexist big, he's a
sexist big.
Slut. There was like an interview where it was kind of like a baiting thing where they were like, so we've heard that Black Widow in the MCU, or not the MCU, the comic books, has slept with Tony Stark. She's slept with Thor, Hawkeye, blah blah blah. She's list off like a bunch of male characters, and then what does that sound like to you? And then Jeremy Renner's just like, well, it sounds like she's a slut. And I mean, I guess that's funny. And then people did not appreciate that. And also, apparently, Anthony Mackie is a sexist asshole as well.
Isn't Anthony Mackie a Scientologist?
I don't fucking know.
Wait, no. Michael Pena is for sure the
You're racist.
the funny dude from Ant-Man.
Is he actually?
Yeah, he actually is, which
That's
is weird because I really like him as an actor, but that just surprises me. What does Anthony Mackie do though?
So he had this interview with I think it was Michelle Williams. That's the name of her show.
Michelle Williams, the actress.
I don't remember. I don't fucking remember at all. But
these names mean nothing to me.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie plays Falcon, the guy with the wings.
Okay.
All
right.
Winged man.
Yeah, I also made a video about him. People did not appreciate that either. But yeah, he's in an interview, and then she's like, "So I hear that you believe in traditional gender roles in the household," and he's just like, "Oh yeah," and he's just saying yeah about 100 times, and then he goes just like, "Well, I just think if Daddy wants a sandwich, you make Daddy a sandwich," and then he just said a bunch of other weird, gross shit. And yeah, and also there was this interview. I think I brought this up before, where it's like one of those cringy ass Avengers couch things where they're on like Jimmy Fallon or whatever, and the whole cast, like, they're a bunch of action figures. They just pack them together like sardines in a can. And the question was like, the prompt was like, if each Avenger was a food, which would each of you be? And then Anthony Mackie interrupts everyone and goes, "It's like Scarlet would be a sweet potato," and gives her a weird fucking smile, and then everybody's quiet, and there's a little bit of laughter in the studio, and then and Scarlett's visibly uncomfortable, and a few other people are, and then Anthony Mackie starts nodding. He's just like, "Yeah, sprinkle some brown sugar on that, some butter." It's just
Is
like
Anthony
Jesus
Mackie
fucking
saying
Christ.
he fucks sweet potatoes?
I don't fucking know, man. Apparently, he either wants to devour Scarlett Johansson or, I don't know, do something fucking weird. It was definitely not cool.
It's so easy to not be weird, but then all these actors and like famous people always have to say some weird shit that was totally unnecessary.
And his real name's Clarence.
Really? Anthony Mackie?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Not to be confused with...
Pena, you're fucking dumb.
It is an 8 Mile reference.
Oh, man.
Clarence lived at home with both
I
parents.
haven't seen 8 Mile in forever.
What? Even I've seen 8 Mile. Oh, in forever. I mean, you don't have to have seen it recently to.
Actually,
That's such
I'm
an old
lying.
name.
I don't think I've seen 8 Mile in its entirety ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Even I've seen.
It's
that.
like one of those
Come
things that, like, if it's on TV, I watch it for a bit, then I go do something else.
I have that relationship with I Am Legend.
Oh.
But I'll watch the whole thing.
I
And
watched
Hellboy. Speaking of Hellboy.
Yeah, I watched all of I Am Legend once when I was like in the 3rd grade because I thought I was a badass for watching a dark, scary movie. And it also had the alternate ending on DVD where everyone lives happily ever after in the end.
That ending, the original ending sucks, dude. I hated that.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
Wait, which one did you not like?
Isn't the one where he just blows himself
Oh
up?
yeah, that
And
one
he
is
doesn't
bad.
get
That's the original.
He doesn't even get the cure out or something. Like I think he like finds the cure but can't do anything. He just has to blow himself up.
Yeah.
No, he makes the cure work, and it works on the wife of the lead of all the zombies, and then the lead of the zombies makes him, inoculate her, and then she becomes a zombie again, and then he gives her back to the lead zombie, and then he gets shamed because he realizes that these are conscious, like, living, beings. They're not just animal instinct creatures, so he feels bad because he's murdered hundreds of thousands just to create a cure.
Yeah.
And then he leaves, and then he goes to the human settlement.
He leaves?
Yeah,
What?
he leaves with the little kid.
That's the alternate ending.
Yeah,
The better one, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. I really thought you were describing the original ending.
No, the
and I was
original
like,
ending.
When does he fucking blow himself up?
He tells the little girl and the little boy to go hide in the chimney or whatever, and then he opens the bulletproof glass and then pulls the pin on the grenade and blows everybody up.
That movie's fucked. I just remember the dog. Love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that
was pretty
scene,
sad.
yeah. Yep.
Good fucking dog. Speaking of Hellboy and movies you watch on cable television, FX has the movies. The new Hellboy trailer
Looks bad.
Looks I thought it was like mediocre. It was fine. But I mentioned this to Patrick. It looked like they knew what they had looked bad, and so they decided to try to make the trailer look funny, but now it just looks like it's trying too hard to cover up how bad it is. Like a Suicide Squad kind of thing, you know?
I didn't see enough practical effects creatures. That's what really did it for me in the original Hellboy movies. It's just so many props and little animatronic, like Fraggle Rock style, like weird creatures and like old Star Wars creatures looking like stuff like that. In the Goblin Market or the Troll Market,
Yeah.
all that shit was awesome.
And also like Mila Jovovich or whatever, as the Blood Queen or whatever. She doesn't look particularly.
She just looks like Mila Jovovich.
She just looks like Mila Jovovich. Yeah, I was just like, she doesn't look. She just looks like a person. I was confused as to who she was supposed to be until I actually looked up who she was.
That's all her movies though.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. She's in all these nerdy, not nerdy, but pop culture-ish adaptations. You know what I mean? Resident Evil. She's in the new Monster Hunter movie, if they're making one, and she's in all these things, but none of them are good, which makes me think that Hellboy is also not going to be good.
Well, you can tell that because David Harbour is a great actor, and I thought he was a great pick because he looks like fucking Hellboy if he was turned into a human. But it's just the makeup is so bad.
Yeah,
he looks like a character from Doom.
Yeah, the eyes in particular were kind of throwing me off because they looked too it looks like he had candy corn on his eyes basically.
And also, it's so much makeup that it's hard for him to emote. Every time that he moves his face, the original Hellboy suit, it was a lot of makeup, but you can see his expressions and stuff when Ron Perlman moves his face. But this just seems like there's nothing going on.
I think the comparisons will just be so unfair because not unfair, but unfair in that the originals will be far and away superior because one, Ron Perlman is an incredible actor and that's one of his most iconic roles, and two, Guillermo del Toro directed both of those, and that dude, especially when it comes to creature design, is the expert. He is the world's #1 authority on creature design and practical effects and creating all of that stuff.
But you can get people who are equally talented or who have different vision for this kind of thing. I don't think there's anything holding them back other than decisions that they decided to make.
But
maybe they're trying to make something that's closer to Guardians. That's what I thought, a Suicide Squad or a Guardians, just something that's a little safer. I don't know what's unsafe about making something with a ton of practical effects other than it being more expensive.
Oh yeah, and I think the difference between this Hellboy and the last Hellboy is that was before the superhero movie craze kind of even became a thing, and so it seems like that movie was kind of made actually like as a labor of love. There was like actually some like creative passion behind that. And now that they're rebooting it, and they're gonna try and turn it into a franchise, obviously, it becomes a lot more, I don't know, corporate, if corporate's the right word, but a lot more mundane and just like dull, because it's directed by like a guy who actually it's directed by the guy who did The Descent, which is like a horror movie that's actually pretty good. But other than that,
little goblin creatures.
yeah, exactly, those girls that go hiking and there's like goblins in the caves.
See, but there's practical effects in the movie.
Yeah. But then everything else he's done is not good. Like, have you ever heard of
What else
Dogs?
has he done?
Have you ever heard of Centurion?
Oh, the one with the eagle.
No, that is something else.
Is it Henry Cavill?
No, Centurion. Who is this? I think this is. Yeah, it's Michael Fassbender. It's like a historical action adventure.
I think I've seen
thing. It came out like in 2010. He's like done nothing interesting in the past. Such a long time. Actually, it's so weird.
I would normally care if I hadn't seen this trailer. I would be like, yeah, regardless of what he's done before, I feel like it's completely indifferent as to what he's gonna make now, unless he's made 100 really shitty movies. If he's made like a couple of movies that were so, I don't care. But now that I've seen the trailer, it's like, oh, I guess he's not suited for this.
Usually when big studios pluck directors that don't really have much of a resume,
makes him a puppet.
Yeah, they're essentially a puppet for like the producers or like the studio. Yeah. Exactly.
Or even hire a director at that point.
Yeah, someone needs to be there basically to be a babysitter and like make sure all the pieces fit together. Basically,
who's the person who was fated to make the Flash movie? Something Wright, Edgar Wright. And
no, he was the Ant-Man movie. He was going to make an Ant-Man movie. Yeah.
He was hired, and then he was like, "Oh, they're just going to tell me what to do," so he left.
Yep.
Why would you ever hire someone with vision? And then companies were like, "Okay, we'll never hire someone with vision ever again."
The thing is that it goes back and forth because either Marvel has like sort of let up on that and let directors do their thing a little bit more. But I also think Edgar Wright did not want to have to deal with like all the connective tissue that it would take to like have it be an MCU movie. I remember that being like a key sticking point that he like didn't want to deal with.
He would have to include a bunch of stuff just to remind, like Easter eggs or like references.
Yeah, like make it like nothing could contradict like the world basically. But at the same time, the MCU is now pulling in people like Ryan Coogler, who did Creed 2. Creed and Fruitvale Station. Like, he's an incredible director. And I'm not sure. I think his voice definitely came through in Black Panther. So I think they might have like let off the controlling gas with that one. But then you've got also people like James Gunn, whose voice definitely came through in Guardians of the Galaxy. But he was also like a good fit to begin with. But now he's fired, so that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
And then you had other people like Jon Favreau who do Iron Man.
Well, that was the first outing.
Yeah, so
there wasn't a dependency to make connections.
Then Taika Waititi doing Thor Ragnarok, that movie is like dripping in his exact kind of humor. So I definitely think that they're taking their hands off the wheel a little bit more these days, at least, and that's a good thing. So hopefully we get more interesting movies as a result.
Maybe it's because the other two fucking Thor movies didn't make as much money or just weren't as popular.
Maybe it's because they were just garbage.
Yeah.
They're just bad. But yeah, otherwise, Hellboy looks okay, and there's just not much to discuss. Like, I'm not even that interested in it
trailers
anymore.
have come out recently for new movies?
So many trailers. Men in Black International is the other one.
Mediocre.
I could tell you the plot of that movie right now, and I'd be willing to bet to you that is probably
for some reason
it's gonna happen.
I watched it and all I could think of was Ghostbusters because it was Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I get that.
And he was using little guns. For some reason, that's all I had in my head.
I just can't see Chris Hemsworth in anything else these days, and especially because he's literally also co-starring again with Tessa Thompson. It just feels like another like weird Thor Ragnarok like fever dream. Like the Men in Black
That's
International
true.
trailer looks like it could be like a skit from like Thor Ragnarok 2 or something.
Remember when Liam Neeson said he was done with action movies, and then he made 900 more action movies?
Yeah, and now he's doing like he's playing a snowmobile driver who like is trying to find the man who killed his wife.
Oh yeah, I
Have you
did see
seen the poster for that?
that. Looks so dumb.
It looks insane.
What's the name of the movie? It's so stupid.
I don't even remember. I think it's
It's like
something.
Snow Plow Your Mom or whatever.
Hang on, I'm gonna look this up now. Snowmobile.
What other trailers are there?
Neeson movie. There's oh, did you see the Godzilla 2 one?
I didn't watch the second one.
That's good.
No.
Yeah. Oh, it's called Cold Pursuit.
We talked about that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, we did. Cold Pursuit is the Liam Neeson I'll ride my snowmobile to find the man who killed my wife movie.
Is that the name of the movie?
No, it's just Cold Pursuit. It's not Cold
Oh.
Pursuit : I'll ride my snowmobile to find the
That
man
sounds
who
like,
killed my
like
wife.
something, you know, Wint on Twitter?
Yeah.
That's like something he would say.
Wint is like the best account
Wint
on
and
Twitter.
Drill.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, movies are looking good. Did we talk about Yeah, we did talk about the Avengers trailer. And that looks
Oh
fun.
yeah, the nothing of that trailer?
Yeah,
And how everybody's overanalyzing it.
yeah. I mean, there is like a few things to analyze, but other than that, like, yeah. Let's see what else. This is kind of like a separate point, but like on the topic of like superhero stuff. I've been watching a lot of like recent like music end of the year roundups, like top 10 worst or top 10 best singles of the year, and one of the worst singles of the year that kept popping up was this Eminem song called Venom that was then used in the movie Venom. Have you guys heard this song?
I have heard this song. Yeah, actually, and wasn't
What
it
song?
made for the movie?
I think it was made for the movie, but it was also like featured in his actual album. So I don't know which
Yeah.
came first.
What are we talking about?
The Eminem
Venom, the
song,
song.
Venom.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse.
No. Well, I really want to see that movie, but I haven't yet. So we
Talk
can't
about
talk
it then.
about it.
Fuck!
I know. I'll probably try and literally just take myself to go see it tomorrow.
I'll say this. 100 billion out of 10. It is the best Spider-Man movie ever made. That fucking song is so good. Everything. I cried like 1 billion times. Go see it. That doesn't mean it's a sad movie. There are sad parts though. Just like any good movie, it's an emotional roller coaster.
Pat, do you just take yourself to the movies, but like by
Oh
yourself?
yeah, I don't go to the movies.
I
with
should
people all
do
the time.
that. I should do that more often.
I
'cause
fucking love it.
I did it like once and it was awesome. I don't know why I haven't done it since then. Because then
Myself and Icy.
I miss out on like so many movies as a result because I never have anyone to go with to like
It's sort of a
certain
stupid
things.
idea. If you're going out with people, make it an event where you actually can talk to each other. Otherwise, why are you going to a thing together?
That's true. But
Other than to like elbow someone when the trailers end and you go like, I want to see that.
I do like doing that though. Like when I go to a movie with Kalina, like in between like trailers that end, I'll just be like, "That looks like shit." Or like, that looks pretty good.
See,
actually."
but every time I do that, it's with Yaman, and he goes like, eh.
Sorry.
He doesn't
Yeah.
fucking like anything.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Oh, you remember fucking Alita Battle Angel? or
Oh
whatever? I
my
don't know if you
God.
remember seeing the trailer for that when we were sitting next to each other for Infinity War, but you look so completely confused, and you look to me and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with her eyes?
no. What's
Yo,
wait,
look
what is-
up
what's
look
the
up
movie
Alita
called?
Battle Angel. and it'll jog your memory.
Spell it.
Alita, Alita, Battle Angel.
There it is.
It is a bizarre.
Oh
looking
yeah,
movie.
her fucking eyes. That's right.
They went back and like there was this whole YouTube video about how James Cameron went back and like retouched up her eyes to make them like less weird. But I still
Less weird.
Yeah.
This is the less weird version.
This is
depends
the
on like
conservative
what
one.
trailer and what poster you're looking at. The most recent poster looks less bad.
There's Ajax in that movie from Deadpool. He's like all robotic. He looks like a
Oh, I
character
see
from
him.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the latest marketing blitz for this movie, because it was like pushed back a year because they probably know it's gonna suck. Now just like moved away from the like the more emotional like, oh, she's just wearing a t-shirt normal person thing to she's always decked out in battle armor now, which makes it look more. Yeah, they're making this thing look like a fucking like ninja movie because this
Dude,
new
I'm
poster.
okay with that, to be honest. It looks sort of like if for some reason in Ready Player One, they decided to stay in one specific one of the worlds and just made an entire movie about it.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
What?
I haven't seen Ready Player One, but I wanted to know what you thought about it.
Fucking boring.
Boring. Really?
Mhm.
It wasn't.
I like the action bits, sort of like the same thing I get out of Pacific Rim. Not much of a story, but I really
Oh.
like watching things beat each other up. I watched the Iron Giant fight Mechagodzilla. That was fun.
Oh, like that sounds cool, but then like the rest of the
But then you have to cut back to the real people stuff, and I'm like, oh, fucking shut up.
like the CG for like the Avatar characters that the actual people inhabit look weird.
And it looks like a video game. I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Which
I didn't pay for you to trick me into thinking fake people were real.
makes sense. Yeah. No, you're right.
I saw Avatar. That was, I mean, still going back now, that looks like real things.
Avatar, really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Definitely. It's a centimeter away from being like complete. If I squint, I wouldn't be able to tell.
I think I'd be curious to see. I'm curious what Avatar 2 is going to be like because Avatar 1 was so game breaking. I really want to see like
I will see all those movies.
how much can they actually improve.
I don't care if they don't improve a fucking thing. As long as they go exploring in that world and showing me new creatures and showing me new areas of the world, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I played that video game and got all of the flora and the fauna research databases. Fucking got all the
Jesus.
guns. I love that game. Those movies, I will see them until I die. I don't care.
I just like do not give that much of a shit about Avatar. Like I'm actually surprised to hear you say that because I've never met anyone that is like, oh yeah, I'm really into Avatar's lore, man. Like that's what gets me going.
I am into the lore. It's cool. Sort of like I don't know if I have another example. Like I don't know why this isn't even about what I'm just mentioning, but it just made me think of. You ever hear that those people who committed suicide because they knew they could never go into the world of Avatar?
Really?
After they saw
Jesus.
the movie, there was like a string of suicides
Oh
or
wait,
something like that.
for real? Oh
Yeah.
fuck! I thought this was like
Look
a
it
lore
up. Either I'm completely
thing.
making it up. I've heard that like 100 times, so maybe it's just a fake
No
thing.
way, that's real. Hang on, Avatar. I'm gonna do Avatar suicide, and I'm probably gonna get some weird results. Let's see.
If that happened, do you think James Cameron would feel
Oh! Avatar fans suicidal because Pandora is not
that?
real.
Suicidal. Okay, cool. So they didn't actually do it.
Maybe
Possibly.
they did. Fans of Avatar have been left feeling blue by the realization that the utopian planet Pandora is not real, with some saying they are plagued by suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, I've had dreams like that.
I have so many questions. Like, you're seeing a movie. What do you mean you're just coming to the realization that it's not real?
I think what they mean is like I can never visit this amazing, fantastical world that was created before my eyes, and then the movie's over. It's sort of like, yeah, I mean, this is nothing like what you experience, but you go see a movie and then you have that moment of happiness, and then it's over.
Sort of, yeah. That's the biggest reason why I don't like movies nearly as much as like shows. I like knowing that the show that I'm enjoying has 8 more seasons, and I can just sit down and watch this for hours every day for like the next 8 weeks or something. But when you go to a movie, it's such a short, condensed burst of happiness that you will then, if you want to enjoy a second part, will have to wait a year, 2, 3, 4, and that's
fair.
sort of how I feel about that. But
I would agree with that. I'm leaning more towards that thinking these days because, as you're saying, like, we get like 3 Marvel movies a year now, I think,
45.
and even that doesn't feel like it's enough sometimes.
Really?
Because, I mean, in terms of movies, I guess it's fine, but I feel like, especially this wait between Infinity War and Endgame, it just feels like so stupid. Like, I'm so used to immediately jumping to the next episode or jumping to like the next part in the story, right? Like I want a complete story from beginning to end, but because of the way movies are structured nowadays, there's always a sequel in the works, right? So you're never
I'm so tired
done.
of that shit.
You're never done. You're on this like spinning hamster wheel of then you got to go to the next one. Then you got to go to the next one. But the hamster wheel takes like 6 months, sometimes a year to turn.
Yeah, exactly. Like with a show. Well, the show, like I watch shows that have like come and gone. Like it's not like a currently going like running show.
Mentalist.
So like, yeah, like The Mentalist or like stupid. Like who the fuck watches Mentalist? I watch The Mentalist. I've watched it through twice now. It's really good. You guys should watch it. Trust me. But I forget what my point was because you interrupted me. But yeah,
Is that
yeah,
you don't
that's
have
how I do it.
you don't have to wait like 6 months to a year to
Right,
finish.
right. You know that at the end of the season, you're not going to get a full conclusion, but you know that eventually the seasons will end.
Yeah.
And you will get a complete conclusion to everything that's been, in your head through the first season, second, third, fourth. But with movies, you don't know if this conclusion is going to be the last. You don't know how many movies there are going to be after it, if there are going to be any after it at all. It's annoying.
I mean,
it's
that argument kind of falls apart with like shows that are still in the air, especially Game of Thrones, because it's been like a
That's
year
fair.
and a half
Yes.
since the last season.
But it's also the struggle of watching a show start to suck. Like Arrow was good for the first 2 seasons, and then it just fucking fell apart.
Yeah, that's
Flash
also
got fucking
that's
boring.
also a huge worry.
Legends of Tomorrow was never good.
I've yet to experience that. The closest I came to experiencing that was I watched the first
Dexter?
like 2 or 3 episodes of Dexter, and I stopped. And like I'm actually in season 7 of Dexter now. Like at some point, like a few weeks ago, I started watching it again.
Oh yeah.
Gave it another
I was
chance,
just gonna
and now
bring
I'm
up
in season
Dexter.
7. Yeah, and so I rarely do I have that where a show kind of falls off. People were telling me that Dexter is gonna fall off in the 5th, 6th, 7th season, something like that. Yet to do that for me.
Really?
Usually, if I don't enjoy a show within the first like 2 or 3 episodes, I'm not gonna watch it.
You know what I really liked? That episode where I don't know if that's the kid.
No spoilers. You better be
It's
careful.
very early. It's the first season,
Okay,
I
yeah,
think.
okay.
Anyway, I didn't get much farther than that in that.
Okay,
in that
okay,
show.
go ahead.
But it's the kid who he meets, who like witnesses him do something, and then he
I know
gives him
exactly.
tips on how to kill someone, or something like that. It's really
No,
cool.
so it's the kid. A kid gets out of jail, juvie, I think, and Dexter's gonna kill him because the kid killed some guy.
Oh yeah.
That's why he went to juvie. He goes to kill him. He like puts the knife to his neck, and then the kid tells him that the dude was like raped him like multiple times or something like that. And then he's like, "Don't do it again." And he leaves, and then the kid ends up killing again. I think, if I remember correctly. But like there was that moment where I think it was the first kill he didn't follow through on. And that's what made it like such a big deal. Like anytime somebody knows his identity, that person is dead. That person is getting chopped up into pieces.
Yeah.
But that kid was like, he was doing horrible things to us, and so that's why I did what I did. So
I love
he didn't kill him.
that first season because although I mean they're kind of annoying a little bit into it, but the first couple where he has conversations with his dad, who's just like, you got to act normal, you got to act like a normal person, otherwise people are going to think you're weird. And then it cuts to they're at like the hayseed ride, and he's messing with his sister, and they're both having a fun time. And his dad leaves over, and is like, dude, I'm glad you're feeling better.
yeah.
And then he's just like, I hate this fucking thing.
I hate this. He's like, I'm doing this for
you.
you guys. Yeah, I hate this. The hay's itchy. This field is boring and empty, but I'm doing this for you guys.
And then he
that was
immediately switches back, like pivots right back to messing with his sister and smiling. It's
right.
awesome.
He's such an interesting character.
Mm.
It's done
He also
so well.
that actor looks so fucking weird.
Michael C. Hall, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a very strange
Great.
looking dude.
It's sad because
which
he
is
hasn't
perfect for his
Exactly.
character.
he hasn't
Also,
like done anything else.
He seems like he would be asexual. Like he has that weird vibe of just, and there's the
Right.
voice as well. Just so many things contribute to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that show when I was way too young, honestly. I watched that show in like the 7th and 8th grade when it was like
Jesus.
first on Netflix, and then when I ran out of the seasons on Netflix, I literally used my iTunes gift cards to buy the episodes on iTunes. Like I still have them like in my iTunes library.
Nice.
But I had stopped after season 5 because the drop off became like immediately noticeable to me. Season 5 was like when he
Really?
started dealing with some lady who was also killing or something. I don't quite remember.
I think that's season 6,
Is it
Feels like
season?
or maybe
Death
even 7. So this is. Wait, which lady? There's a lady. So
It's
there's
like
a lady
it's
that.
the season immediately after the season 4 was the best. It's like the triangle killer or something.
Who's the lady that licks his wiener?
Oh, the Trinity.
The Trinity killer.
So after the Trinity killer, it's Lumen is the name of the girl, and she had been, I think she was like girl number 13 in a chain of like these girls were like sold and raped and whatnot, and then killed, and he goes to kill one of the guys doing this, and she sees him like doing his ritual where he like kills the dude,
Yeah.
and then she wants to kill the rest of the guys that did it to her, so that then they kind of go off killing together. sort of.
Okay. Yeah.
That was cool. I had been waiting for the moment when somebody knows about who he really is and like accepts it, and like that was for like a few episodes, and then like they wrap everything up with that character and she leaves, and I was like, no.
There were some weird side plots to that show that I really didn't care for, like his sister's relationship with that way older dude out of nowhere.
What? I didn't think that was that. bad. It was interesting because he hunted serial killers was the whole thing, right? He was with the FBI, and his whole job was to hunt serial killers.
Yeah.
And now Dexter's sister is dating a guy that hunts serial killers, and it was that tension that was always there.
Yeah. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the later seasons, apparently, like, he hooks up with his sister or something.
So, I don't know how it's... So far, his sister, Deborah, starts seeing a therapist, and the therapist suggests that maybe she's with all these shitty dudes because... I don't know how she made some sense of it, of, like, she's with these shitty dudes because she really wants to be with her brother or something. I don't know how...
That's
she, like, spun that.
Yeah, there's a long.
And then Deborah was like,
to weave.
"I think you're right." And then, like, she admits that she loves him, like, not sister loves him. It was a very weird turn. Like, I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Did you guys think that the weird ass relation? I don't remember what the name of the black police officer was.
Oh, Dokes.
Dokes.
was
The
a cool
weird
dude.
ass from the jump relationship they have, where he just talks shit to him like it's like a high school.
So that he was one of the reasons I stopped watching the first time I watched like the first 3 episodes. I was like, what is this character?
realistic
Is this a serious show, or is this trying to be Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, right?
This doesn't
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sense.
Oh, he's the guy who the meme.
Surprise.
Some
meme,
fries,
dude, when that-
motherfucker.
When that
Surprise,
happened in the
motherfucker.
show, I had completely forgotten that the meme existed and that it was him.
Yeah.
When it happened, I had to like pause and like sit
Does he
back
end
and
up
go,
killing Dokes?
Whoa. Well, spoilers to anybody that's gonna watch
It's like a
Dexter.
10-year-old show.
He does. He pretty much plants evidence making. So people catch on to
Dexter?
Dexter's killings. Like, they find the bodies that he dumped in the ocean, and they're like, "We're on the search for the Bay Harbor Butcher."
I
And
remember
so,
that.
it's all because of Dokes. Dokes starts catching on to him and everything. He pretty much makes Dokes look like the serial killer, and then Dokes ends up getting blown up by. So Dexter doesn't do it himself.
Blown up.
Yeah, Dexter locks him in like a cabin. It's so complicated. This girl that was obsessed with Dexter finds Dokes in this cabin by like tracing his GPS or something, and then instead of setting him free, she's like, "No, I'll do anything for Dexter." And then she like turns on the gas and like lights a match or something, and the place explodes.
Damn.
And then everyone ends up thinking that Dokes is the Bay Harbor Butcher, and like the sweat is off of Dexter now, and then that ends up coming back later in the seasons. But yeah.
Like, just even like talking about like
It's a
these
lot.
stories, like it's like I forget how much I like was hooked on that show. Like, I think that was
Yeah,
like the
I mean, I
first
get
show where I really experienced like getting hooked into a TV show. Because like before, like I did not give a shit about like TV in that way, because I don't think anyone necessarily did, because you couldn't watch everything on demand. You'd have to like actually tune into shit or DVR it. It was
So
that
of Young Justice.
that I did like those shows, but after Dexter, this was back when like Netflix had way more content because no one really like knew what streaming was, so it was super easy to get stuff. But after Dexter, I started watching another Showtime show called Weeds.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah,
It sounds familiar.
it's with Mary Louise Parker. She's like this mom in the suburbs that literally is selling marijuana to like sustain her family after her husband dies, and it's nothing like Dexter, but it's like this weird like drama comedy thing, and the show escalates from her like just her trying to cover her antics as like a suburban like drug dealing mom, so like her literally like dealing with like the Mexican cartel. Like, it got insane. I remember I stopped at like season 4 or something, because then Netflix ran out of seasons or something. But that show was literally ended with the entire neighborhood burning down. Like, that's how the show ends.
Wow. So you say you stopped at season 4?
See, it's like I stopped whatever Netflix had
so
at the
you
time.
never
I never
finished
finished the
I
show.
could never do that. I need to get to the season finale. There's always
I never finished Dexter
some-
either, which I still feel kind of
Really?
bad about.
Oh,
But also I don't
I
feel bad
can't-
about
I
it because I
could
heard it
never
was
do
bad.
that.
Yeah. Like,
Well, I'm enjoying it so far.
like if a show stops being good, like I am starting to not feel bad about finishing it. Like House of Cards, for example, the latest season, I watched like half of it. Sucks so bad. And that's unfortunately so. Like, a lot of that was like out of their control. But I'm just not gonna bother to finish it, even though I only have like 4 episodes left. Like, it's not worth my time.
You said that Dexter was the first show for you that like really got you into like.
Just got me like.
got
Got
you
me the
hooked?
very concept of like that you can get hooked on shows like this, that where you just keep watching them back to back.
The first show that I was like that because I'm a fucking loser was Monk. You guys remember the show?
Oh
Monk?
yeah, I knew kids that were
Oh my
surprisingly
God,
in middle
dude.
school that were like hooked on shows like Monk and Psych.
Yeah, I can tell you the order. Like there are only a handful of shows that I've watched from beginning to end, like from their very first season, the pilot episode to their season finale. It went Monk, Mentalist, Burn Notice.
I love Burn
Mentalist
Notice.
again.
I would watch that
Yeah,
with my sister. I love that fucking
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, and then Mentalist again, and now Dexter.
The old,
Like that's
it was so Nathan Drake. There was the young dude. There was like the Sully character who wore Hawaiian shirts.
exactly
The
well,
love
it's-
interest
it's-
who was in and out. It was so good.
It really was the Sully character because isn't that the guy that voices Sully?
He was
whatever that
also
guy's
in
name
the
is?
Sam Raimi Spider-Mans.
Yeah, the older Spider-Mans. Oh my god, yeah.
Can I bring up a subject that has nothing to do with any of this?
Yeah, we can move on. We've been talking about this for a while.
Who do you guys think is a super overrated superhero? Don't say Batman or Superman.
Who do I think is an overrated superhero?
Overrated, like within their overrated within their
Too popular
universe, or-
isn't doesn't have enough meat
so
on their
within
bones to be
our
as popular as
universe.
they are.
Okay, I see.
Problem is, I think I feel like the universe is like kind of like correctly placed, put everyone into their place. At least how I like perceive, at least how I perceive things, because I think all the CW superheroes are garbage, and I think
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
the world at large, I know those shows have their fans. I think the world at large kind of like recognizes them. Like, they don't have more clout than they deserve to have, which is like close to none.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would have said Thor, but Thor Ragnarok really brought him back for me.
You need to read some comic books that I'll recommend. God Butcher.
Oh,
God
okay. Well,
Mom.
I'm going purely off of movies here. Like, I've not read.
Well, yeah, that'll change your mind for sure.
Yeah, like, and Thor Ragnarok totally changed my mind. So,
Yeah,
I'd say most, even Hawk. I know we joke about like hating Hawkeye and stuff, but I think Hawkeye's like actual characterization is like kind of interesting, and like he has his moments. You know, like in Age of Ultron, like he's got some good cracks. His stuff with his family I thought was nice. There's really like no one. Like, there's like more like underdeveloped characters that I don't care for as much. Like, I think Scarlet Witch is like
Fucking hate that.
not
character.
all that interesting.
And Vision.
But she's not overrated because no one like, there are not like Scarlet Witch
There are people
stands
going to bat
out
for
there.
Scarlet Witch. Yes, they are. Are you just kidding me? Did
Really?
you just say there aren't stands for a character?
I'm sure there are stands for every character, but I'm saying like
There's a lot.
not
enough
that
to
many.
make them
like,
enough
not
to
that
make them
many.
overrated.
Yes, enough to
probably
make
Not
them
enough to
overrated.
make them overrated. Not enough.
People
to make them
who are
overrated.
constantly making edits of Scarlet Witch.
You can find weird edits of anything online.
That's not what I meant. Popular
But I
edits on
understand.
Explore.
Okay.
I mean, you said not Superman and Batman. Those are the two.
Yeah, I knew those
my
would
head
be your
immediately.
go-to. Mine is
I don't
Deadpool,
think-
to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, he's fucking annoying. I like the movies though.
I think Deadpool can easily
In the
teeter
comics,
into,
he's really
into annoying territory. I
And
can
it's
easily
not like
see that.
I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, "That's the point." No, it's not. No, it is not. The
Yeah,
point of
I-
Deadpool is
I
not to
don't
be
think that's the
annoying.
point.
I can easily see him teetering into annoying territory for sure.
Because recently in comics, he's gotten to this point where he's trying to kill himself, and this has happened like 100 different times because he wants to like be with Death, Lady
Yeah.
Death.
Why does everyone want to fuck Death in the Marvel
I fucking
comics?
have no idea. It's the dumbest
forbidden
goddamn
fruit.
concept in the universe.
So weird. God, I'm trying to
It's
think.
just overplayed. I'm so tired of Deadpool.
I don't even think Batman is overrated. I think Batman's a
I hate him.
legitimately good.
Tired of him.
No. Like, even
Batman Beyond is the only good Batman.
no, absolutely not. Like, even stepping away, I've actually read like a decent number of Batman comics, and like those stories are always my favorites. Like, they're actually interesting. There's like good
in
mystery to them.
comics they're great.
Yeah,
Comics are
Yeah.
really fun. But
I mean, there's
on
definitely
screen,
been Batman misses, obviously, with like the most recent stuff.
It's
But
just hard to suspend your disbelief. It just sort of reminds me of like the CW. If you imagine like a character like Arrow in like, and you see him standing on a street in the show, and then imagine how would cops take him down? How would he get away? He's just a guy. It doesn't make
True.
any sense to me. He's going to be running faster than the cops can drive around and circle a block and like create a perimeter. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Same with Batman. I don't care where his car is. People would figure out where he lives. It just doesn't make any sense. And the only reason it works for me is if he's sort of like pseudo Iron Man or, what's the equivalent? Fucking
like Reed Richards or whatever. Like that level of intelligence.
No, I mean Terry McGinnis is my favorite version because he's sort of an idiot, but he has the mentorship of the old Batman. But there isn't much involvement of the old Batman stuff. There's just new characters and new enemies. And he's got a suit that makes it feasible for him to get away with things and fight
True.
people. Makes sense
Okay.
to me.
I see what you mean. Okay.
But yeah.
I mean, I really like Batman Beyond, but I don't think
Captain America too.
Captain America overrated.
Cool character idea, as in like his character, like I have character, like that's what I mean. Like him as a person, like I hate bullies. I always thought of him in the movies and in the comics as he's a little guy at the wheel of a big body. Like he's still got the mentality of I'm just a small fry, but I'm still gonna go up against people who are bigger than me. Yeah. I like that idea. It works great, but also I hate his the way he fights. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like he would just have a shield and that's all. Like it doesn't work in my head. Like someone going into bed, it looks stupid to me. It just doesn't work.
I mean, I don't think that's like reasoning for me to say they're overrated. Overrated would be I'm still trying to find someone that is like actually very, very popular that I actually think is just like a stupid character. Like you were talking about how Captain America like has a good character. I'm trying to think of someone that actually like their characterization and their personality is like not interesting at all, or is like boring, or just like
Vision.
sucks for one. I don't think Vision was ever interesting or ever highly rated, to be honest.
I miss Jarvis.
Yeah,
I like Friday
right?
though. I do like Friday.
Friday's cool. TGI Fridays.
Boss. Looks like Peter is dying in the atmosphere.
Even I can make an argument for Superman, who's like my immediate like overrated superhero.
That could be done so much better. He needs to be depowered. Just bring his he's at like 100 right now. Bring him down to like 30.
Yeah, like but
leap tall buildings in a single bound was totally sufficient. It doesn't need to be a god.
Superman was literally one of the first superheroes ever created.
He was the Superman.
Yeah, so like he was literally made to be invincible, and he never like shed that over the many, many decades of his character. So
all
like
his powers were so weird in the beginning. The only reason he could melt things with his vision was he was using his X-ray vision and just cranking it up to 11. Like all of his stuff got tweaked into it's just heat vision and his X-ray vision is separate. Oh, he's got super vision and all this. It's just so much.
Like he was so invincible that they literally just had to make up a stupid fictional rock that would make him weak. Like
Lex Luthor's great. I
like
like
saying
Lex
Luthor is a good villain, but saying like blank is your kryptonite has literally become a catch-all term in like the popular culture.
The only time I'll accept it if it's being sung by 3 Doors Down.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is overrated.
You know, I was just about to bring up Homecoming and how I've started to dislike it.
Really?
Yep.
Who's Spider-Man? What?
The
Sam Raimi's
original
Spider-Man is
Tobey
the ones that
Maguire
you like.
Spider-Mans. The Tobey Maguire ones with the nerdy dude that's supposed to be in high school, but he looks like he's 30.
Overrated.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it now. But you think it's overrated?
I think when those movies were the only Spider-Man movies to reference, nobody ever gave that much of a shit. I mean, people were like, yeah, they're like fine, whatever. But now that like other superhero movies have come out, everyone's retroactively going back and saying like these were like the pinnacle films of their time, and like this is like the definitive Spider-Man. Like this has also gotten me thinking about it recently because of like the recent Spider-Man PS4 like campaign to like get the fucking Sam Raimi suit in that game.
Whiners.
It's just so annoying. I was like, I get it, but that movie's not even like that good.
And also, Spider-Man, not a very attractive suit, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very dated.
The webbing pattern is like raised, like Braille. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's of its time for sure. But like Spider-Man 2 is great. It's a good movie. Like I'm not gonna say that it's not.
One of the best.
But yeah, and even the original Spider-Man, I've rewatched it recently. Like it's pretty decent. Like it's good. It like for an early superhero movie, I think it does a good job. Spider-Man 3 like obviously falls off the rails, but I don't think they are these like untouchable all-time greats that people think they are. I think Spider-Man Homecoming hangs in there with them pretty easily.
See, I don't like how much, and I saw a video essay that I was like, it opened my eyes a little bit. These are things that I didn't know I disliked until someone showed me that, and it makes it sound like they just convinced me of something I don't actually believe, but I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, I
you had your mind changed.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
how it works.
It's like Spider-Man doesn't. It's a lot of things, and I'm probably not going to be able to mention them all because it's just hard to keep them all in my head. But number one in my head is Spider-Man has too much technology. To me, he should have a mask, a suit, web shooters, no heads-up display, no AI in his suit, no immediate connection to Tony Stark giving him new suits. I like the Iron Spider suit, but it should. I don't know. Peter needs to have more moments where he's making his own technology. He's a genius. He should have that on his own.
I would agree with that.
I think that's a good medium where he does have that technology, but it's because he created it. It's not as great as what Tony Stark would give him.
He's also a dumpster diver, so he can't make a heads-up display on his own.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It's kind of an issue that was in the back of my head while watching that movie, but it didn't distract me too much. But if you do think about it more, see, the unfortunate thing is that this Spider-Man now exists in a universe with Iron Man, and Iron Man can obviously make everyone's tech like better, like for like no absolute reason.
Isn't that the argument we always? It's like this person should be in an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
This person should be in an Iron Man
and
suit.
so they finally do it, and now we're like mad about it.
No.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Go ahead.
Me personally, I prefer if Spider-Man isn't on the Avengers until it's like, all right, we're about to fight for the existence of the planet. Let's bring in scrape the bottom of the bill, every person who has a stake in this.
Isn't that how they did it?
Yeah, it makes sense. Let's bring in, I mean, it didn't really work that exact way because, he just sort of stows away. But I wanted to see, like, the only reason he's there is because everyone's there. And it didn't seem like everyone, in air quotes, was there. Spider-Man should be in New York. That's where he should stay. I don't want to see him going to, fight with the Avengers on every single mission, or most of them. He should be interested in saving New York, the little guy, that kind of shit. And obviously he's a kid. He's super excited to go and do that shit, but at the end of the day, he realizes he doesn't want the suit. He wants to go stay in New York. And I like that, but it's like, there's so much, like, extra stuff. Like, having Iron Man even in that movie, it's totally unnecessary to me. Like, just... It's too much connection. Just make an Spider-Man movie, not an Avengers featuring Spider-Man movie.
That's fair.
I didn't mind Iron Man in the movie, but I get what you're saying. Spider-Man doesn't need a suit to be an interesting character. No. Like we look at some of the other characters that we say, oh, they should have a suit. It's because they suck in general, and a suit would make them interesting. Spider-Man already, he's agile.
Spider-Man has actual abilities.
Yeah, he has abilities. He's got strength, and he can climb walls, and just all this stuff that can make him an interesting and reliable character.
Yeah,
right. So a suit is, while yes, it would make him even better at all those things, it's not necessary, and it's like the Superman effect almost, where he's becoming more powerful than is necessary.
And it's
power creep.
It plays to that thing that we mentioned where why are you giving Spider-Man, who already has superpowers, another superpowered suit when Hawkeye and Black Widow are sitting there naked? It doesn't make any sense to me.
That makes sense. Yeah, I would agree with you 100% on those. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why they went I like the way they went with it, where like Tony Stark is acting as like his mentor, and I think that makes like a lot of sense.
Personally, I think Iron Man has no business being anybody's mentor.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think that's what makes it funny. It's
weird for him to have that
role. Right, it's not your usual like wise, experienced mentor. It's sort of
that's
like
fair, but I mean, being self-aware does not make it okay. Like he mentions like, oh, I sound like my dad. I can't believe I'm doing this. Yeah, all right, it's not working out. I'm gonna need to take the suit. That moment could be easily the suit breaks. He doesn't have connection to Tony Stark to get it fixed, so he has to use a suit that has no technology, and then he stumbles and falls and then realizes I can do this on my own. I don't need anybody else, and then he does his own shit. The most interesting, interesting portions of that movie are when he gets the suit taken away and he uses the one that he fucking made that looks like the Scarlet Spider suit. Ben Parker, the Clone Saga, love that fucking suit, and he struggles and lifts things, and He has
Yeah.
he fights the I almost called him the ostrich, the fucking vulture. He fights him, and it's like tooth and nail, and he's scraping by, and the suit tears, and then pieces of his mask are falling off, and it reminds me so much of so many comic panels. It was so great, and then we're back to here's an Iron Spider suit, here's your other suit, here's you're fighting in Infinity Wars. Like, why is he even there? He's Spider-Man. Why is he in space? Doesn't make any sense to me.
That's fair.
No, yeah, it makes sense. It's the, a superhero without weaknesses is not interesting.
Exactly. That's what makes Spider-Man the best, because he's so relatable. He's a human before anything else.
Right, exactly. That's sort of why I sort of liked Iron Man, is that, yes, he had the suits and everything, but I don't want to say like the way he thought, but his approach to certain situations was human. It wasn't like, let's be smart and think this through. It's like, I've got a suit, let's fucking go. And that was sort of like a bit more relatable than sort of how Batman would go about, handling something or something.
Yeah. I'm going to bring every gun to this fight because I don't want to have it be a challenge for me unnecessarily. I'm going to bring the Hulkbuster because why would I need this to be a fight to the end?
It's like, you think of a plan while I fly in with all my suits and blow everything up.
The Iron Legion.
Like that kind
of
of
Ultron. Just, why not bring those?
I think I would like to see going forward, like I would like to see Spider-Man and like Peter displaying more of his like natural talent, like with technology and intelligence and stuff like that. Like he could easily. I think the whole like I have a high-tech suit angle could work a lot better if you naturally incorporate that with him making it himself or something. Exactly. Like it was cool when he, or I think technically his friend, like hacked the suit.
Ned.
To unlock all the abilities, basically. Like that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
like that's a good way to take that. Like these are really smart kids angle.
Not only that, before you move on. Not only that, when they hack the suit, doesn't he like have trouble figuring out all the features?
Yeah, you have 5,600 different web shooter combinations.
And he's like fucking up and
the
like
taser
messing
webs
things
and
up.
the
Like,
gas
that's
station.
cool.
It was cool, and I think that would have been a good moment for it to not work. It would have been shorted out, some electrical problem, whatever. He doesn't use it right and it breaks, and now he's stuck using that.
And then he's
why not do it that way? He's Spider-Man. He doesn't need all this crap.
Idea, actually, I would love that.
There is actually this kind of goes back to what you're saying, Patrick, when he was wearing the Scarlet Spider suit, which is just pajamas basically,
and a hoodie.
A new picture came out from the next Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. The stealth suit. It's him.
He's got fingerprints.
He's wearing black pajamas now.
Yaman, have you seen this?
It sounds familiar. Yes, I don't think I like.
I didn't either. I like the main Spider-Man suit that looks like it's going to be his new suit because it's got that black V. I love that because
what's that suit called? The first one, stealth suit.
I think I don't think it's supposed to be like an actual like Spider-Man outfit. I think it's just taken from a scene where he needs to sneak into somewhere.
He's also got fingerless gloves, which means he's going to leave fingerprints everywhere. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
He's fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
Am I can
somebody send me the picture because I'm not sure.
Pat,
can you send me the stealth suit and the regular suit that he's going to be wearing in that
Continue talking about fingerless gloves, Ben.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, here we go.
I don't know.
I'll send you the tweet. I found it.
These are from the game, aren't they? I'm so confused.
Okay, this is in Spanish, so I'm sorry about this ahead of time.
The picture is in Spanish.
Yeah. Oh, this is kind of cool. Why is it black? Now he has like sorry, I was like, okay, I can't, like, I don't know why my
somebody cut that piece of audio where he says that was cool, but why is it black? Just post that everywhere.
You got him. There's like a few different ones. Okay, here.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm confused. Like I looked up Spider-Man Far From Home stealth suit. I got like a bunch of.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat. I'm gonna drop this in the chat right here.
No, I got it. No, I
want to get. I'm gonna see who does it first.
It's in the chat.
Oh, it's in the chat.
Drop it. Drop the suit in the chat for me real quick.
All right, I got it.
It said redirect notice. What did you fucking
do?
It's
a website link.
Patrick's got this.
I pressed on it and it didn't redirect correctly. All right, I got it.
Patrick's awesome.
Patrick, isn't that first picture? Isn't that from the game?
No, that is from the new movie.
Oh, that's from the movie.
Doesn't it look awesome?
Oh.
No. The red and black thing. That's not the stealth suit, is it?
No, the second one is.
The stealth suit is the second one. That's what I thought. Okay.
Look at his feet. What the fuck is wrong? He's got like boots on.
No, it looks like he's wearing like leather loafers.
He's got like
his church shoes. He's got church shoes on.
Yeah, that suit is fucking ugly. I remember that is the suit I saw the first time.
Look at the top right of his right pec. Does that look like a SHIELD logo?
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, look at the link I sent. There's
No.
nothing.
I can't. It doesn't work. Your link
Fuck
doesn't
your
work.
link.
You
It
sent a
does.
stupid link.
No, Patrick, it's like a blank badge. I'm looking at the cost of a better.
It looks like he's
picture of
wearing
the
a
costume.
bulletproof vest and a bunch of like mall ninja shit.
Yeah. Mall ninja shit.
He's got night vision goggles on, I guess. Why the fingerless gloves on?
Well,
First of
he
all,
has
it looks like he's wearing
he has-
leather pants
he
and
has
cowboy
fingerless.
boots.
He has fingerless gloves because he needs to be able to climb shit.
Your link doesn't work.
Doesn't? Well, fucking whatever. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, I found it. Shut up.
Okay, fuck you.
Anyway, for people wondering, it's
Oh yeah. So
it's Spider-Man Far From Home suit and then Spider-Man Far From Home stealth suit, as if you want to look that up.
I would also just like to say that this is kind of a separate point. I'm kind of annoyed that
Let's see.
they are starting to promote this movie
Yeah,
when technically he is dead right now.
it doesn't make sense.
Like, I get that everyone kind of knows that none of them are staying dead,
I mean,
but at
technically
least
they're
like
set
keep
photos.
at least keep the facade consistent. You know, like it's like they're not even
especially
trying.
considering the movie comes out in like 6 months, like 5 months.
Yeah, like
Is it before or after Infinity War Part 2?
it's definitely
July
after.
5th.
It has
Okay,
to be.
cool. I really hope it is. That would be weird.
Yeah, it would make no sense if it was.
I mean, it already makes no sense.
Yeah, like the I remember like a few weeks ago, like they were gonna drop the trailer. Well, they did actually show the trailer at like Comic-Con Brazil or something, and they were gonna post it for everyone to see, but then they decided not to, because I guess Marvel, because it's a weird like Marvel and Sony co-production, because Sony still has the film rights for Spider-Man, and I think Sony is technically the one doing all this promotion stuff right now. Against Marvel's wishes. If Marvel had like full control over this, I'm sure they would have a tighter lid on it. But because the situation is weird, that's why all this stuff is
See,
getting out.
Who's Jake Gyllenhaal?
He's the guy playing
Mysterio.
Mysterio, and he's also a great actor.
Who's Mysterio?
He's a guy who has illusion powers who fund.
Oh, is he the bad?
He's
Is he
bad
the villain in this
He's
movie?
the bad guy.
Okay.
He can make people see things that aren't there. He's also got some mystical abilities. He's got a big fishbowl on his head. He's the guy who tricked Logan into killing all the X-Men in Old Man Logan.
It's that guy.
I wonder how they are going to translate that to the film. I'm
I
curious.
hope they don't.
Because Vulture
Or, you know
was.
what they could do? They could have his suit just constantly produce smoke near the neck, so it's sort of like a Ghost Rider effect where you can't see his head because of all the smoke.
No, he's constantly just drooling. That's why his helmet's.
Why do you
just filled
ruin
with
everything?
smoke.
Who's JB Smoove? Who does he play?
Who is JB Smooth? I've never heard of that.
You'll recognize
He
him.
plays the
when you see
character
pictures.
Slime Man.
I
Oh,
don't know if
JB
you
Smooth.
could literally be saying anything.
Oh,
about
this
him.
guy. Yeah, he's in a Curb. Some other stuff.
Well, I mean, he's in the new Spider-Man movie.
Herb sounds like it's a movie about a street thug.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Hmm.
Yeah, he is in the movie. That's weird. I wonder why. I don't know what.
Was he not in the first
no,
one?
he wasn't.
Why does?
Oh, some people think he's
He's been
playing
in a
J.
lot of
Jonah
movies.
Jameson. That would be a decision.
What?
Apparently he's playing J. Jonah Jameson.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who?
JB Smoove.
JB Smoove?
Yeah, JB Smoove.
Smooth as fuck.
Smooth as fuck. Technically hasn't been reported or announced officially.
That looks great. He's got the big head.
Yeah.
I can
I
see the
can't-
mustache
Alright.
already. The Hitler
I'm-
mustache. Do you think they're gonna go with Hitler mustache?
Maybe. He rocks
Wait.
this like thin mustache thing usually.
See, there was no inklings of Peter being interested in journalism or photography.
Yeah.
You
right.
don't even see him with a camera, so I wonder how they're going to start that up. Does he
I
find
think,
a
I
camera?
think it might be an MJ thing. Like they'll tie that in with her
It's just-
probably.
I just have PTSD from the fucking games of MJ.
Yeah.
MJ's name is Michelle Jones. Like it stands for
Mary
Michelle
Jane
Jones.
Watson.
in
Well,
the movies.
In these
Oh,
movies,
yeah,
it's
yeah, it
Michelle
is.
Jones.
to
Okay,
get away
I
with
knew,
it.
Okay, I was like, that's not her name, is it?
Yeah, to get away with the little hoodwink, they had to be like, oh yeah, her name is actually Zendaya.
People were so
What?
fucking angry about that.
I can't wait
Not my
for
MJ.
all the fucking neck boys online to freak out when JB Smoove ends up being J. Jonah Jameson.
The
And
SJWs have gone too far. I miss my
Exactly.
what's his name? J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he was great.
He was good, and he's great as Jim Gordon now. So whatever, he's not unemployed.
I'll pay
or
top dollar
anything.
for pictures of Spider-Man.
I'm so
Just
glad
eat
that they
around.
successfully like race swapped Nick Fury before this like weird like
Who's Nick
online Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Well, I mean, they did that in the comics, and they literally specifically made the character
Was
look
he-
like Samuel L. Jackson.
Did he used to be
He did.
white? Is
Yeah.
that
Nick Fury used to be part of the Howling Commandos, and then he got some. What's it called?
Howling Commandos?
It's, yeah,
Sounds
it's
like
from
a
the
bunch of kids
40s.
running around in
It's
their
from
own-
the 40s. There's like a bunch of guys with Tommy guns in the war in
Pretty
Vietnam.
much, yeah.
And then he lives up in a satellite and uses infinite serum to make himself immortal.
He uses
Then he
infinite
runs out
syrup.
and dies, and then the Watcher dies, and the eyeball explodes. Then Original Sin.
All right. Any final points you want to make on that? I'm going to move on to emails.
On what?
Spider-Man.
Really
Oh, he
fucking hope
was a
they
white
just
dude.
downgrade the heads-up display bullshit.
Exactly.
And also something, what makes it cool about the web shooters, him not having biological webbing like the Raimi Spider-Man.
I'm
is that-
personally in favor of biological webbing.
I'm
That's just
not.
me.
That's
Yeah,
stupid.
same.
That's
No.
so stupid. That's so stupid.
It's not
Why is
stupid.
that stupid?
How-
He's
where
got
does it
spider. He's got
stored?
spider sense.
He has every
He's got
ability.
spider
He has
sense.
every
He's got
ability of a
everything else a
spider,
spider can do.
except that he can't make his own webs. It
I
makes
think that's so
it
dumb.
makes
Yeah.
way more sense for him to make his own webs.
Okay, I know that you're gonna
absolutely.
say it's just like, well, he can jump 1 billion feet in the air, so how are you supposed to say that it's unrealistic for him to have web shooters in his arms? But where is 900 feet of line stored in his arm?
Where's 900 feet of line stored in that little capsule?
It makes
in his
more
arm,
sense to me than
fucking
it being in his
idiot?
forearm.
No,
Absolutely
he's
not.
creating it all the time.
In
It's always happened. It's always
nanoseconds,
being
it's just
created.
where's the
Yes,
material
in
coming
nanos-
from? He has to eat like 900 calories a
Pat,
day.
It's the same
Pat.
shit with the little capsule. Pat, you're
how do
talking
you
about
think-
the thing the size of a fucking quarter on his
Wait,
arm.
how do you
It's
think?
the same
How do you think
shit.
real life spiders do it? They have tiny little
It
butts.
takes
and
them
they,
like nine
spin-
and a half hours to make an entire web.
Okay, so maybe like Spider-Man just has like the ability to like create webbing much quicker. you know?
Anyway,
Not a
whatever.
big deal.
You guys have bad opinions, but
Bad opinion. How does what you said make? How does the fact that he can
because
shoot
I'm a
9
real
billion miles of
Spider-Man
webbing
fan,
in the-
you fool. But anyway, it makes it here. Just listen to this.
It doesn't make more
Just
sense.
whatever. If it does or it
that-
doesn't, that's not the point.
It doesn't though.
Shut
But
the
okay,
fuck up.
continue.
Fucking 9-year-old. So it works better for movies and on in visual mediums because you have like an avenue to show how Peter is intelligent. Like him developing his suit is one thing. It's cloth. It's like, all right, so he's he has some tact. He can make some stuff on his own. Or you can have Mary Jane make that. That's usually how they go. But that's sort of weird because it's like, let's get the woman to sew the suit. But with him making his web shooters, that's a perfect avenue to show that he's totally capable in a laboratory and with tools and stuff. And I think that works so much better than having him have stupid goddamn fishing lines in his wrists that no one can see.
Yeah,
See,
yes,
I like
him-
the intelligence argument. I agree with you. I agree with you that it's like
And
a
I
good
agree
when you
as well,
talk
expression
about
yeah.
of
realism.
it's a good expression of his intelligence and ingenuity, but simultaneously, if he's gonna get bit by a spider and have all the powers of a spider, that should obviously include the most signature thing a spider does, and that is weave a web.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree that he should make his own tech, but he should start with the base. Like he's got the spider sense, he can climb up walls, he's got the strength, and he can shoot webs. At the core of it, if he was butt naked, he should be able to do those 4 things.
I disagree.
Right?
Wait,
I mean, I
wait.
don't have another.
I have
I've
a
already told you what
compromise.
I
I
think, so
have a
there's no more point.
compromise. All right. So he makes the web shooters from engineering, from his own intelligence, right? He puts those on his wrists, but organically he can shoot webbing out of his ass.
Can we just move on?
Fucking hate you.
I was waiting for something actually interesting. Why would you just say
Right, I
that?
thought he was gonna have it. Yeah. Anyway,
I think it makes more sense. Like he can hang upside
Fucking
down
shut
from
the
like
fuck
his
up.
butt.
That's like you ever hear the comic run? I don't remember who it was, but he was in a relationship with MJ as usual, and they were married, and then they're trying to have a baby, so he inseminates her, and she dies because his nut is radioactive.
Oh God. Oh God.
It's an other Elseworld
God
story,
damn.
but I always found that completely entertaining.
That's crazy.
And also, you're talking about webbing coming out of his ass. It just reminds me of the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s or the early 80s, where he is like with Madam Web and stuff, and he has that one episode where his powers go out of whack, and he has like 6 arms, and he has like hair all over his body. He's got fangs and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. This is an actual compromise. This is not a joke. What if he had naturally occurring webbing, right? But he couldn't like control it. Like it would just kind of like spill out of his body, and he didn't know what to do with it. So he like engineers like these like wrist gauntlet things or whatever that he can more like directionally control like his webbing and his shooting. I think that's a cool compromise. Then he doesn't have to worry about like the pellets or whatever the fuck.
It would make more sense if he can shoot webs, but it takes way too long for him to regenerate it enough, like fast enough to be able to web swing.
Okay,
and stuff. So
I like that because otherwise it doesn't make. Okay, and I know you're saying it doesn't make as much sense either way with the pellets or his wrists, but think about it like this: he has, I don't know how thin wrists. He's not a big buff dude. Where is this stored?
Yeah, right. I don't know. You were right. As soon as you said that, I was like, dude, he's got a great point. And then you were like, it makes sense to have that quarter-sized capsule shoot all that. And I was like,
because there are tiny micro things. The technology part is easier for me to suspend my disbelief than in his body there's some magical thing. And I know you're going to say, well, he has superpowers, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's hard to
what
believe
Pena said actually it's fair. I would totally understand that.
So it's hard to believe that a regular spider that's tiny makes webs slowly, but he is bigger and thus somehow can create them faster. Does that not?
How fast, though?
Could they not spin some science into
900 feet of webbing to swing from a building?
The thing's like the size of a quarter, you fucking...
It's not the size of a quarter. It's even smaller than that. Size of like a
It's even smaller than that. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, exactly. That makes no sense.
Okay.
All right, we're moving on. If you have thoughts about Spider-Man...
You saw in the fucking movie, he has that moment where he's in chemistry and he's like watching the video or whatever, and then the teacher gives him a question and Flash gets it wrong because he's a cuck, and then he's like, yeah, it's 900 over 2, and then he gets it right, and then the teacher dunks on Flash. He's like, see, Flash, it's not always important to be the fastest. And then I thought that was kind of strange, but then Peter is like, he's working on the formula, he's got the hydrogen or whatever, and then he opens up the drawer, and then he's just stirring web fluid in the middle of the fucking class, and then it expands. So expanding web fluid. So he's got it in this trapped little thing. Maybe air is what makes it bigger or whatever.
It could expand how much.
It doesn't matter. It's just something you can more easily understand than he has a giant glob of fucking webbing like a fishing line in his forearm.
It's not built up. He doesn't store it in his wrist.
So he just creates it from what?
God.
It was just slowly, he's eating away at the calories in his body because he cannot produce
How
that
do
much.
spiders do it? I don't know how spiders work. How do spiders do it?
Slowly is how they do it. Very, very, very slowly.
Oh my God. And spiders can't also do the things that he's...
Whether you're talking about storage or making it just as you need it.
Not storage.
No storage.
That's
making it as quickly as you need it. So, what is the fuel for it? His body mass or his calories that he eats?
Yeah, his calories.
Something. It's just like
they could easily spin something like that.
Doesn't make any sense. How much can you possibly make?
How much could you possibly? How small?
His entire belt has 37 of the little canisters, and as I've already said, expanding.
But they don't run out.
Fluid.
He doesn't. It's not like a pistol where he shoots like 4 webs and then reloads. He'll use it for half the movie and then be like, "Oh, it's out." After
you can see him
swung
reloading
from one side of the
movies.
city to the other.
You can see him reloading them in the movies.
Yes, he does it like one time every movie. He does absolutely
He fights the vulture and he does it on the plane. He does it when he first fights that guy who's robbing the liquor store.
Doesn't do it nearly enough for it to make sense.
It doesn't do it nearly enough for you to blink and hold your eyes closed so you can't see it, you fucking idiot.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Pena, would you like to talk about something else?
Yeah, agree to disagree here.
This is giving me vibes of like the first few podcasts.
No. I want you to know that I completely agree that him being able to shoot it out of his arms. We're not arguing that either way makes total sense.
Totally.
Both don't make sense.
I think yours is a little bit harder to swallow, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think yours.
Both of your logics could easily just apply to each other.
You actually think that mine is harder to believe than he creates it as he needs it for like 100 miles up in the air? Really?
Yes. I absolutely do.
Whatever.
Because I've seen the size of the capsule. Like, okay, expanding webs, cool. Okay, I can kind of but to what extent? The thing is tiny.
I'm gonna,
and he's
while
swinging
you
from.
guys talk, I'll look up some stuff and see what I can find.
Oh
and
my
not to
gosh, we don't
disprove
have
you, and it
time
won't
to
make any
look up-
sense because it's not in the movies, and that's what we're talking about. I'm just gonna see how big they are and how it makes sense.
So the thing is, you guys could easily apply both of your arguments to the opposite ones, because the science behind the expanding webs from the capsule could easily also apply to some sort of like biological form in his wrist, right?
Oh, I didn't even think of
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it expands.
it literally
in the
doesn't
wrist
matter.
It expands or some shit. I don't
Like,
know.
not you don't have to like jump through all these like hoops of like his body can continuously make it, which to me makes sense, at least. Patrick, whatever. But if your argument for the technology in the capsule is that it's basically this condensed stuff that when released into the air expands like a million times, like you could easily say something like that exists naturally within his wrist, basically, right? So
It's
at the end of the day,
it's the
they
idea
both
that it's not
can
him
work.
With a capsule. At the end of the day, the thing that bothers me most is that with a capsule, he doesn't have the ability to shoot webs. Like anybody could wear that capsule in theory, and then they could web swing.
Yeah.
But he can do it because he is Spider-Man, because he is like part spider. Is what.
Man,
That's why I
they
feel like the
really,
wrist
really
thing
got
is-
into the weeds
Yeah.
with this shit.
Yeah, I mean, we're really getting into the weeds, aren't we?
The wristlets and web fluid cartridges, the latter of which Spider-Man wears on his belt beneath his costume's tunic, are mainly nickel-plated annealed brass. Why the fuck do they know this?
It's, oh my
It's
God.
brass and nothing else.
I'm sure people have like
So,
had this argument for way longer than we have had it.
right. If anyone pulls out that information, I'm gonna stop arguing with them immediately. It's like
I'm trying to find
you're
where
right.
this is explained.
Do not send any like marvel.wikia.com
65-pound
links.
pressure. Holy shit.
Okay, so jumping into something we actually haven't talked about is the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield. They actually do a really incredible job of explaining the science behind the web shooter mechanics and literally show like diagrams of how they are strong enough to pull an entire like plane. And it's really cool. And you see Andrew Garfield making them, and that's like one of the few redeeming factors of that movie.
That's actually real. Like spider web is made after woven and then woven again. It makes something super strong, like harder than Kevlar.
Okay, cool. So
I feel like I've heard that before.
Because it's true.
is it bulletproof?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or like
I don't
can
know.
be.
I feel like I've heard that. If woven enough, I don't know. I feel
It's
like
just
I've heard
because
that before, though,
the
somewhere.
the actual like original product that the spiders make has such a high tensile strength. I don't know if you've ever put your finger to like a really strong like a web the spider makes and seen how much pressure you can actually put on there with it being so thin, and then you weave that hundreds of times over and you make something really strong. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Spiders are cool.
Thank
okay.
you, Yaman.
Now we're moving on. Yaman, don't say anything.
I wasn't. Why do you think we're? This is
Every time I
We've
think it's
reached a
over-
compromise, Pena. Now we're at your throat.
Every time.
Yeah. Now you're next. You're-
Anything you want to say about the rhino or the scorpion?
I like that all the villains are like animal based.
Like Craven the Hunter?
Yeah.
Craven some ass.
Not Mysterio though. Or is he like a fish man?
Did you say
No, he's
Mysterio?
Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Mr.
I like
Oreos,
Misty
hey.
All right, email time. This one's from Sierra. Hey dudes, hope you're all doing well. Don't have a question, just wanted to mention my appreciation for you dudes. It's currently 3 a.m. and I'm desperately cramming for my organic chem final. Listen to these podcasts while studying and it makes the whole process less terrible. Also, I wanted to tell Patrick that I love the artwork he's been posting on a story recently.
Thank
Such
you.
a unique art style and it looks cool as fuck. I love
You already
Funhouse
read this?
and your Bruce. No, I didn't. The date is from when we did it last time.
Oh.
We're good. It's such a unique art style and it looks cool as fuck. I love Funhouse and your Bruce Green drawing was so good.
Thank
Hope
you.
everything is going well across the pond, Alex, and good luck on finals to Yaman. Happy holidays, Sierra.
How's it going
Thank
in
you.
London,
Thank
Yum?
you.
How's it going in London, Benny? Fuck.
It's going great. Thanks for asking. Thank you for your email. That's so nice of you. I do need to. Maybe I did. I don't think I read that one last time.
Can I just mention something real quick?
No.
I listen to these in my car when I go driving, and I know
Yeah.
for a fact because every single time I get in an argument with either of you, I listen to them again, and then I have another great point that I think of in the moment when I'm listening to
Right.
myself.
That's normal.
Because it's like
Yeah,
there's two of me. One of me has made all these points, and now I have brain space to make other points, and I can't make them because you don't exist anymore. It is annoying. Anyway, continue.
Right.
You should literally just like call me and be like,
Not gonna do that.
"All right, idiot, listen."
I'm on the highway. I'm like, Pena, you understand?
You don't understand. The capsule is made of, and then you can.
This next email is from Kai Chan. I don't know.
Can you get there?
You can do it. I believe in you.
Oh wait, I have read this. Oh, it's because you unarchived them because you wanted to get their fan art. That's why. Okay, so
So it's your.
Did you
fault,
read the
you
other one as
fucking
well?
idiot.
no, the other one I think is fresh.
I feel like
think
I've heard
one
that
was
before,
fresh.
though.
This one's from Abigail. Hey, Prude, thanks for responding to my email on the podcast. Here's some more dog pics. I have a habit of calling all of my animals dogs. I just find it oddly amusing.
Dog pics.
I even call my
Dangerously close
chickens
to dick
dogs.
pics.
This is the girl who has like many animals and like rabbits. That's a fucking mouse or like a rat. I don't know technically how you differentiate them, but also asking someone if they'd like to meet my dog and pulling a pet rat out of my sweatshirt has resulted in the best bamboozled expressions I've ever seen. P.S. I don't really consider my hobby farm a job because the small scale makes it difficult to make any money. Oh, this is what we talked about last week. Yeah, she emailed us last week about this. I have it more so I can eat cruelty-free without going vegan, as well as then I know everything is organic. Bonus, it's labor-intensive, so hopefully I'll get ripped yeeting bales of hay out of my barn.
Oh my god.
PPS, supply daycare worker is the equivalent of a supply teacher, but for daycare, sorry for the confusion. I don't even know what a supply teacher is. So, what is that? Is that like, is that a thing you guys have heard of?
No idea.
What?
A supply teacher?
Nope.
Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry. Happy holidays.
It sounds like a greeting that you would have for someone that would teach you to be duplicitous. Sup, lie teacher?
Supply.
Anyway,
Fuck off.
Are you kidding me? I thought of that in like 3
All the
seconds.
comments-
I'm such a fucking genius. Anyway, continue.
All the comments from the last YouTube upload was, "You guys are tired as fuck."
Yeah.
Like, go to
I
sleep.
was very
Like,
tired. It was very late, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what I was doing that day. Here we go. This is sup, my dudes. Just me again. Cheyenne. I don't know.
They even
If
gave
it-
us a guide as to how to spell or pronounce her name last time.
Yeah, but I can't find it, so I'm
Fucking
so
idiot.
sorry.
Every email that you send from
can't
now on
find
should
it, I'm
include
so
a handy
sorry.
guide as to how to pronounce her name.
You need it.
That sounded so panicked. You're like, "Yeah, but I can't find it. So I'm sorry."
Please put your pronunciation in parentheses, just like they do it in the dictionary. Thank you.
So that we can still get it
Yeah.
wrong, and it's extra embarrassing.
Alex, you did in fact get my name wrong. Thank you.
Cheddar
But that's-
cheese, chorizo, Shane.
Sure.
You're getting closer. I'm sure you're getting closer.
But
You
that's
have to
chill.
be.
The missing E gets everyone. What missing E? I don't say it.
You know those words that don't have letters that are supposed to be there?
You know those words with invisible letters.
Yeah, it's like silent letters, but instead they're just not there.
So is it pronounced kine or chine, or is it pronounced?
You're really hung up on this. Can you please read the
Yeah,
email?
it's fucking hard.
Read the fucking
Oh, it's
email.
pronounced Cheyenne, like the native tribe or the capital of Wyoming.
You
So
know
I
the
was
thing
right.
that I said at the beginning that was
I was-
definitely the right answer?
I fucking
Fuck you.
hate you. Just read
You said
the
chorizo.
email.
No, I said cheddar.
No, before
Cheyenne.
he said
Fucking
Cheyenne. Just read the... Oh.
Anyways, since y'all answered my last question and were hella rad with what powers you would have, I made Alex and Patrick the duo called on by Fury. Yaman, I'm sorry you were being snapped out of existence since you were a busy dude and weren't able to answer the question.
Send me this
Fair
in the
enough.
chat.
Fucking just open up the email.
Uh,
Here we go.
But you can archive it.
Wait, I didn't see this. We get so much stuff, and I've like literally been so busy with so much stupid shit. But we will get around
where
to
is
posting
it?
all of
Who is
these.
it? Send this?
I'm just gonna drop this in the chat.
Who sent this?
It's Cheyenne, dude. We just fucking said
Literally
that.
just spent
We literally
forever
just
trying
said
to...
that. Yeah, I'm gonna put this right here for you.
Did you
See.
already archive it?
No, I
Where's
didn't
right
archive it.
here?
I'm on
Don't
it.
you put it. Don't
I
tell
just
me to
sent it in
fucking
the-
put
Is that the
Chat,
name of her
dude.
email?
Stop
It's not-
using the Google chat.
I didn't use the Google chat. I put it in the iMessage.
Okay,
Get
alright,
the fuck
then
off my
hang
back,
on, yeah.
Grandpa. Anyways, sorry for the distraction. Yaman, you're in the
Wait,
Soulstone.
let's voice them. There's a
I like
comment
that.
companion.
Okay, give me a second to read the fucking email.
Go ahead. Yeah, well, you're the one taking.
You're the
forever
one that
to do
keeps
it.
interrupting me.
Hurry
Shut
up!
up.
You tried to pronounce her name for 10 minutes. Read it.
You're in the Soulstone with all the kick-ass people like Falcon, Bucky, and Peter Parker.
All right, let's not get carried away.
Personally, if I answered the question, I would want sick blood magic powers, like the ability from Dead Man Wonderland, aka my blood is now a knife, suck at Thanos, or the fun ability I read about where you can slowly boil someone's blood and not have them notice till they are actually dead. Oh, it's like the frog
I feel like
thing.
I would notice that.
I was like, Jesus, is anyone else sweating? Anyways,
That would be
enjoy
awesome, though.
Fire Dude Patrick and Spider Genius Alex. Sorry to Alex that I can't actually draw bodies or draw at all, so you have a cape on, because fuck yeah, capes. Also, random photos of my mom's boyfriend, super cute golden retriever Zappa. Here's a big old fluff ball. He's a big old fluff ball who I would murder for. Yes, I bought him a dog Rob for Christmas. I don't know what a dog Rob is. Also, question, I don't know if this has been said for or not, but I'm a Harry Potter nerd and want to know, everyone, what is your Hogwarts house? Personally, I'm a Hufflepuff and a horned serpent if you want to go full live horny houses. Oh, Ilvermorny houses as well.
Are you even
It's
speaking
probably
English
like the
at
word
this point?
egg or something. You have such struggles.
God, the American
Elvin?
such.
Oh, door. Got it.
God, the American school system is such a weird name. Anyways, have an awesome week. Oh, it's like American Hogwarts. Sorry. Have an awesome week. These are some cute animals. Appreciate it. Oh, it's a robe. You said dog Rob. It's a robe. You just didn't put the E on it. It's not my fault. Like,
There's the missing E. We found the missing E.
Oh, the missing E. It all makes sense.
It all makes sense.
I'll
Yeah.
send a picture of you, this cute dog wearing this Christmas robe.
Can we voice
cute.
this comic now?
All right, fine.
I'm down.
You only
We're
have
gonna post
one
this-
line. It's just guys.
You stop. Why would you fucking spoil it? You
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
asshole.
So we're gonna post this comic on the
God
Prude
damn it.
dudes.
Oh,
shortly.
look at that dog.
It's a good dog.
It looks
right?
like it's dead.
Living in
I'm
luxury.
sorry we cannot post these dogs without the consent. What if we just started like a
Consent.
separate like weekly pet section for no
We
reason?
could do we rate dogs and have a shitty account that's bad.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Patrick, go ahead. Oh, I start, I guess.
No, you do not.
Okay, fucking. There's no
Patrick
reading
starts.
order,
Yes, there is.
but like it's not
All right.
clear.
Okay, I go, then you go, then I go, then
It
you
is
go,
clear. Alex,
then
he
I go.
asks a question and you
Okay,
answer
in
it.
Japanese manga, you read right to left.
This isn't a fucking. All right.
Just go for it.
Wait, who's the one that's
Me.
on fire? Wait, I'm confused.
You're
now.
the man.
Yeah, so you go first. I know which one I am, Alex. Shut up.
So they called us in.
Yeah, us and Hawkeye. He has a sword now, though.
Well, so much better.
Can't tell if that was sarcasm, but I assume so.
I fucking hate you.
Guys.
That's
And
the
then
only-
I disappear to dust.
Where's
That was
our
good.
movie?
Why are you the one that's getting
I
disappeared
select
away?
the Yeah, you know, they did that
I
to
guess
all
it
the
kinda makes
coolest
sense,
characters,
though,
you know?
because we're like the original Avengers. Because it was
That's
just me
true.
and Penny at the beginning.
Yeah, Yaman
Yeah.
sucks, so it's fine.
Even though Yaman
exactly.
would probably be more
That's why.
helpful in the fight.
The
Yeah.
subject to this email is eat my fucking raccoon ass. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next email.
Love raccoons.
Actually, it's eat my ass raccoon fucks. So whatever. Hey Prude dudes, this is from Kayla. This email is a little late, but back on the 15th, my school lost power because of an ice storm. We were rushed to the gym as soon as we got to school, and I sat on the bleachers with one of my friends. She and I sat there for a couple of minutes when I heard my friend a couple feet away talking about a raccoon in the bleachers, and I, being a normal human being with common sense, in reality, it's my second year in a public school as my elementary and middle school experience was in private Catholic school, told him, quite confidently I might add, quote, I do not believe you. Later that day, my other friend and I are freezing in the cafeteria and are discussing if that raccoon was in fact real. One of the teachers in the cafeteria overheard us talking and confirmed that the raccoon was indeed real. It had been living in the girls' locker room. That raccoon is a pervert. So being normal, freezing fucking high school students, we made a cult for the raccoon. So far, the raccoon is 8 feet tall and 400 pounds of pure muscle. This email went off weirdly, but I guess it's okay. It's also very long, and I'm sorry for that. Anyways, you guys make me laugh so much. Keep up the good work. I hope you have a good night's sleep. Have a good rest of the year. That's all, Kayla. What was that name of the guy that worked at your gym, Patrick? That was
Beef
like all
Boy.
beef. His name was
He
literally
didn't work
Beef
there, he went
something.
there.
Oh, he went there. Yes, the raccoon is Beef Boy. Is a
No, he's
spirit
not.
Animal. Here we
There's
go.
only one beef boy.
This next one is from Thomas. Hi, I was wondering what's the best funny way to come out as bi. honestly just thinking of going, by the way, I'm into dudes and girls to my parents, and then going to work for 6 hours to avoid any questions or conversation. Then just texting my sister, guess what? I like dick. Then just avoid her for a month again. Any better ideas are appreciated. Also, I was wondering if Patrick had seen any of the Fate anime, because I just watched some. I need to hear someone be as interested in historical figures with magic powers as much as I am right now. Also, I don't have any good dog pics, but I do have a good picture of a short-necked fat giraffe. I'm going to drop this in the chat real quick.
I love that picture. Anyway, Yaman, how'd you come out? Yaman, how'd you come out?
Oh, the way I did it, I went. It was at high school. It was at in my high school. I snuck into the principal's office and I got on the PA system, and I was like, "No important announcement. Dick is life," and then I left.
It was like that guy who was gonna use the gymnasium to do his promposal. He never did.
Yeah.
But
that guy goes to GMU.
I didn't know that. I know he works at Best Buy.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah. I feel like we've given enough information to the
He's
point
gonna be
where
found someday.
people might know who this is.
Oh, I
now.
accidentally sent that giraffe to Kalina instead of you guys.
Oh
She
no!
liked it too.
The fuck is
What the fuck are you doing getting pictures of short fat giraffe?
What a fucking travesty! I'm sure she'll die. But anyway,
Just be like, just be like, "Oops, wrong person." Just say
Wrong
that
chat.
to her. Yeah.
oh my god, I love that.
Why is it red?
Is it red?
It's like orange.
I think it's just
like
I
red,
think it's just the color temperature.
It's like
of the
Melman.
picture.
No, that's a red
It's
giraffe.
not actually red. It's just the way the photo was taken on
It's
the screen.
red. Everything else looks normal.
It's not red. I guarantee you.
Look at it.
literally
So
looking
anyway,
at it.
the way you
Okay.
come out is I actually have no idea. I don't really remember. I don't know if I came out. I don't really care that much.
I think, like, if it's important to you, just like tell the
Wait, am
people
I
you
bi or
immediately
pan?
care.
Which one is that?
If you don't care about who you're fucking, then you're pan.
What's
I
the
guess.
difference?
I don't know. I think maybe bi is like more restrictive to like
Male or
male
female.
people that identify as male or female, but then
Oh.
pan is like you can just fuck anyone that identifies
Oh
as
yeah,
like
I
non-binary.
established that I hate that word. It's a
Yeah.
stupid name. I want to be
So-
like omnisexual
That sounds like a fucking transformer.
or like Ben 10's watch.
Transform.
Fuck
I am
everything in Ben
omnisex.
10's watch.
Gaze upon my all sexual form.
Um,
But if you're talking about your family, the way I came out in air quotes to my mom was fucking I don't know.
a dude
was
in
it
my room when
months
she
ago,
walked in.
2-3 months ago. I was sitting there and I told my mom all kinds of stories that make her uncomfortable because it's my favorite thing, and she's
I'm
gotten
beating
less
this
and less
dude's cheeks.
uncomfortable. She whittled away at her soul. And to be honest, you're not far off. I was telling a story about how I met a dude, and then we went to there's a park near the Washington Monument, and then we did it, and then I told my mom about that, and I didn't realize that she didn't know that was something Mom was about, and she just looked so shocked. She was just so like flabbergasted, and I was just like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I
I
remember
didn't tell you about that."
That's how you didn't really come out to me.
Yeah,
you just
same.
casually said something,
Yeah.
and I was like,
You
"Oh,
just
I didn't
started
know-
mentioning
alright."
more and more that you had like were fucking dudes, and I was like,
I didn't say that.
I was like,
It was sort
I
of
was
like,
like,
that.
I was like, wait.
I don't know if you want to.
I was like, wait, like-
It was obnoxious.
I remember we had a conversation where I was like, wait, like you put his penis in your mouth, and you were like, yeah, what's the big deal? I was like, I just like didn't know that was.
Oh
a thing
yeah,
you
that was
did.
when we were hanging out and watching the McGregor fight.
Was it?
Yeah, and then afterwards we had a bunch of fun.
Oh yeah, we had lots of fun.
That makes it sound like I did.
That sounds like it's a no. We did not like
That's,
hook up or anything.
it wasn't so much a coming out as a discovery for Pena.
Yeah, I was just like, I remember I was just like flabbergasted. I was like your mother. I was like,
Really flabbergasted?
You always seemed like the most like straightest individual that I'd ever met, but like I guess like now you're just evolved into this like omnisexual like weird person who does
Weird
anything they
person.
want, so-
Excuse you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So you're weird because you're gay and I hate you.
I
I'm
always
afraid
had
of you
those,
at the same time.
those thoughts, though. It's just I never acted upon them.
That's fair.
But yeah, I don't know how you come out to your parents.
we
I
really
just-
went
I
off
didn't
the
do it.
rails there.
Definitely
just-
haven't told them to my dad.
I think my
Mm.
my way is the best. Go
Which
with my
is-
way.
Yeah.
Go
Go,
with
Say it
to
over
go
the
to the
PA
principal's office?
system.
this,
To give you a real
school,
answer,
school PA system.
I haven't told anybody, and it's not so much telling people. I just don't mention it to people who I think wouldn't approve because I don't want that in my life. I mean, I get the idea of like being brave and showing people that you don't care what they think of you, but I just would rather have less commotion in my life. Just make it simple, and I don't really care that they know.
Because you haven't
I haven't changed at all
after you've told them, but they will treat you as though you are
exactly. Yeah.
And so there's no real reason to.
I've heard stories about people who, like, someone will meet someone on Tinder, like two dudes, and I think I've seen this on a couple, like, the gay bros or whatever, like, those gay subreddits who are, like, all about community or whatever, and one of the posts I saw was just about dudes who will meet on Tinder, and then, like, they want a gym buddy or just, like, a fuck buddy or whatever, then they go to the gym, and they will basically pretend like they're not involved with this person at all, and it was a unsympathetic view of that, sort of like, and it makes sense because it's sort of a little bit in the internalized homophobia area, but it's sort of like, I don't want to show that we're involved with each other because I want to keep this gym as sort of like no one sees me differently because it's a very, heavy masculine place and people are going to think of me differently and not talk to me as much or whatever. Worried about that. And I get that to a point, but I kind of don't care.
I think ultimately, you should just tell people what Patrick said. That would only cause like no commotion in your life, basically.
Why stab yourself in the foot? I don't know, and I get that why people would pressure you to say no, come out, tell everybody, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah,
it sounds like honestly, you want to.
Look out for yourself. If you don't want the drama in your life, like, don't worry about it. Like, it's honestly whatever you want.
Is it weird that I don't have a sense of community with anyone? Am I supposed to be in the marches and stuff? Do I have to do that? Is there pressure to do that?
I mean, if you specifically mean like when you said you don't have a sense of community with anyone, I thought that meant like you feel like you're an isolated person. But if you mean specifically like the gay community, like you don't have to. You can do whatever you want.
Cool. Because people have told me differently.
Well, it depends on the.
I'm also not an authority on this whatsoever.
I mean, I vote for things that are progressive.
Yeah.
Right. It's
and advocate for them.
Like some people believe if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. But I think you can kind of sit somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I think you should be part of the solution, though.
I mean, what the solution is like
Patrick just
I
said
have a
that
platform and then I'm vocally progressive, I would say.
I mean, you vote. That's like all I
That's
really
true.
care about. Like as long.
I'd say that's in the middle though.
No, that's like being. That's like actively being a part of the solution.
We live so close to DC. Yet, well, I guess speaking for myself, I've never been to a march.
I've been to like quite a few.
I've been to like 3, and I don't like them.
I've never.
Not because of the messages or whatever. It's just like I don't like crowds of people, and also there's a lot of
tension. Crowds do make me kind of anxious.
People will try to hold your hand and lift your hand up like you just won a boxing match and like try to do a chant. I don't like that.
Yeah,
don't touch me.
Yeah. But anyways, Thomas, hope we helped a little, if not at all.
So we have to do arts and crafts, like make a fucking sign. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Oh wait, I hope I didn't archive this shit we were supposed to post.
I'm sure someone's gonna tear a fucking hole in our
You just called
heads.
the things we're gonna post shit.
Oh, there's more art. Jesus, stop giving us art.
Don't ever.
Don't. Yeah, keep giving us art.
You should draw. I don't know.
Draw Patrick like railroading some dude. And
No,
his mom just like
don't.
walking hard.
Yes.
What is railroading?
Can we get a picture of mom's?
Railroading
Patrick's
means
mom
like
in
he
the
throws
chat?
him out of a train.
This email is from Vanessa. Hello, Gun Prude. Tis I, the weapons girl. It's nice to know I'm known as that, but going off topic, do you guys say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays?
I don't say anything.
As you guys know, I work at the Dead Mall, but when people do come in, I usually say Happy Holidays because I want to be inclusive of all the Happy Holidays. So this one, old couple was leaving, and I said, have a nice day and Happy Holidays. The old dude turns around and says, it's Merry Christmas, because when you say Happy Holidays, you're leaving the Christ out of Christmas. I just put on a forced smile and replied back, Merry Christmas. It was just odd that people have a hissy fit over whether it's Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas. But yeah, that was my day so far. Hopefully I don't work Christmas, but knowing my luck, I will. P.S. I like leaving P.S. notes for reasons. P.P.S. Here's the finished line and colored drawing from the last podcast. You don't need to post it again, but I just want to show you guys the final version of it. Well, now we're going to fucking...
You don't even have to worry about what that old man thinks. He slipped a disc in the parking lot and died.
Stop.
Patrick made sure.
Broke his fucking femur. I jumped out from the roof of the golf club, took him out. But yeah, you shouldn't care what people think. Every email is just ending up being like, be yourself.
Yeah, be yourself. Don't care. Like, I actually, like, it's funny because I was a person that used to care like a lot about what people thought and like what people
I
did
thought you were
like
gonna say
towards
about
me and
Christmas.
around me. No, not about Christmas. I don't give a shit about that. Although I did have like growing up in Catholic school, obviously people were always like, "There's a war on Christianity and there's a war on Christmas," and I was like, "Guys, chill the fuck out. No one cares." But personally, I also cared when people would be like even like remotely like mean to me, even if it was in a joking way. Like it would really like hurt me. But I've become so desensitized to it now.
How
And
did
my
that
heart
start?
is so cold. Like in middle school, like kids just like fucking like roasting each other. You know, like roasting is like a timeless art.
Oh, I was gonna
And
say
it took me a while to get used to it.
probably some time in this group chat probably soured you a little bit.
I mean that too, but it's like nothing I'm like not used to. You know, like
See,
it's
I don't
like
agree with that
it's all like
because
a
there's
part
some
of
things
it.
that I've said to you before we started doing stuff, and that sounds really ominous. But doing
We
stuff
keep saying it. We keep saying things like we're like hooking up,
before
but
we
like,
started
that's not
fucking,
it.
Just tell him, guys. It's about time. Just tell him.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting feedback from my headphones. But and that just made me think of something else that I want to talk about. But like it depends on who you're hanging out with. But I feel like definitely before we started doing stuff, you seemed like 75% of the way towards where I wanted you to be, if that makes any sense, of like not being sensitive, and now you're completely there. So I don't know.
Yeah, no. I was definitely very
Sounds
sensitive.
like a- sounds like a
the,
proud
no, that's the
father.
exact word. Like that's the exact word that was used previously. It was like I was like a pretty sensitive person.
Not
But then
super
I like
sensitive.
I mean like I'm sensitive about the things that I actually care about.
Yeah.
But I am not sensitive at all about pretty much most things that
Wait.
don't directly affect me or that like unless there's a good reason to care about something, I don't care about it. Like this like stupid like Merry Christmas shit. Like that is like the bottom of my list. I care more about whether or not my McDonald's order is right than like the Happy Holidays shit.
Right. There isn't. I care when it's something I really care about, but there aren't many things I really care about. If that
No,
makes
yeah,
sense.
exactly. That's exactly
that's
what I'm
the way
saying.
to put it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like with most of us, all of us, even if we do care about something, if we can tell it's a joke, we will take it as a joke and appreciate it for if it's funny. Like I don't know, even something
Right.
super dark. It doesn't matter. For example, I'm not gonna say it here, but anything that might be said in the group chat, yeah. But I wanted to say, we were talking about coming out, and again, I don't want to make this all about me, but there was this phenomenon that I wasn't aware of. I mean, I was aware of, but I didn't experience it all before I was like, I guess, me now. It's the people who find out that you're into their gender, and then they immediately assume that you're going to try to fuck them. I had so many people that I knew ask me what I thought of them, as if it was like it mattered now that it's so annoying. Like, I didn't realize that was a thing. Like, I saw it all the time on Twitter. Like, gay people would be like, "Dude, I'm not trying to fuck you. You're way too confident in the way you look," or like something like that. If I could
Don't
wear a
flatter
shirt
yourself.
that says that, it's amazing how many people just assume that I'm attracted to them. Friends,
I mean,
mostly.
but you are still trying to fuck Yaman though. So
No,
No, he already hit.
I have to say though, just a crazy level of glow up for Yaman. Like the beard, the hair.
The beard. I shaved the beard for my sister's
That was
birthday a
annoying.
couple
I
days
saw
ago.
that
but
when
I'm
you
gonna
walked up, and
grow
I was
it
like,
back
"God,
out.
fucking damn it!"
Yeah.
You look like
I know,
Wolverine
I
when
know.
you
It's
don't
coming
do
back.
that.
When I don't
Don't
when I-
shave.
what? When I don't
It's
shave.
awesome.
Yeah, it'll grow back. A couple days.
It's good. I like every time I try to grow a beard, it just doesn't look good. Like because I have especially because I have like still pretty bad skin, like all things considered. So like when I shave, it gives me like more like clear skin to like kind of like balance out. Like it's like a weird like optical illusion almost, where like more of my face is clear, so you're like, oh yeah, like he's like a fine like normal person. Whereas if that's occupied by facial hair, it like my face like looks too busy. Then I don't know like what that is called, but like that's what I notice when I like look at myself in the mirror.
I
Or,
think
like
you should just
photos
let
of
it
myself
go.
shaved versus shaved. I've tried to like let myself just like grow a beard for like a month, 2 months even, but my hair just like never gets like thick enough to like really like be like a satisfying like beard. So I'm just not sticking with it.
I have this friend. Oh,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
that
Oh,
Go ahead.
well, I have this friend who has, he specifically complains that he has his dad's genetics and his dad's Korean, and he has this patchy facial hair like near his cheeks that make his beard sort of look like like thin, even though he waits for like a month, and he says it's super infuriating. So I wonder if it's like has to do with genetics, but how your beard will grow out. And I mean, wouldn't that be really
Absolutely.
annoying?
It is absolutely about genetics. But apparently, your facial hair keeps developing the older you get. Like you typically like stop growing like around you're like 25. Like most of your development's done by then. But your facial hair apparently significantly changes even like into your 40s. Like it can get like actually like much thicker and stuff. So I'm hoping that changes.
Thick as
All right.
fuck.
Next one is from I Am Your Kidney. I don't
Ankle
remember. Sign this with your actual name so I know what to call you.
Damn, we're at almost 2 hours.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah,
Time
it's
flies.
a good episode, man. I'm watching
Hi, critique my art. You guys talk about this art sometimes, so here I did some shit. This is for my concentration for
this. Here, I did some shit.
this is for my concentration for my AP Studio art class. Oh yeah, I know that.
Who's
My
this from?
concentration.
Oh,
This is
I'm
from I
confused.
Am Your Kidneys. My concentration doesn't really have a theme / meaning / overarching topic because I can't come up with a name that sounds good, which is something that I'm supposed to have in order to submit it for review
I like it.
and to maybe look at for 30 seconds and judge on a scale of 1
Send
to
it.
6. Yeah, I know. This is the AP art class. They judge it on a scale of 1 to 6. Yeah, my girlfriend, high school girlfriend at the time, had to deal with that. So
The one with the
I'm
masks
familiar.
reminds me of like Dishonored.
Yeah, that's an impression I got as well. This one I ended up getting first place, but I have no clue what for, so kind of pointless. Wait, which one did you get out of first place for? There's like no photo attached besides the ones at the bottom. I think Google just does that weird thing where like all the image attachments just end up at the bottom, so I don't know which one you're talking about. I'm so sorry. I think it might be the masks one though. If the people listening to the podcast wanted to see the art I posted, it's on my Instagram. That is @_tess.newton. If you podcast folks want to go check that out, and I recommend that you do because it actually looks pretty cool. Okay, Patrick's already dropped it in the chat.
Look at the one with the mask. Is the tube attached to his like chest?
I think so. That looks pretty
Gas
cool though.
mask? That's actually really
Yeah.
cool. It's like H.R. Geiger.
I do dig that.
Looks
I dig
like
that.
Sledge.
It does,
Rainbow.
but like,
Oh, yeah.
like almost. Your what's a Guillermo del Toro project that it's Death Stranding. When,
That's not. He's not
Yeah.
like a huge part of that, but like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just bringing up that to remind people.
Fuck
But
you,
the dude who has all the soldiers attached to him with tubes, and he's like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
famous
yeah.
actor. Don't remember his name.
Mhm. This is really cool though. I would say my favorite is the one.
That one looks like
This is
Ronald-
all. This is
Ronald
all like
Roy.
body. This is like all like body horror stuff.
I
but
like
dig
it a lot.
I
It's
really
like,
like the
number 9.
I really like the camera in the person's like head
Yeah,
thing.
that
That one's
looks
cool.
nice.
And then my other favorite one that I think is really like beautiful and like a lot more intricate is the one where the face is in like different pieces and there's like gears in the background and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it looks like the pieces of a face that have like kind of like come apart. Yeah,
Come
and you can
apart.
see how they like would fit together and stuff. So I dig that one a lot. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out and see what we're talking about, go to her Instagram. That's @_test.newton. Always down to plug some good art. So thank you for that. And this last one is from Aaron. Hey dudes, it's Aaron. So the person in the last episode who works at Target and says it sucks. Me too, man. I do not like working there at all, and I have to go back soon, which is not gonna be fun. You guys should just be friends and like not talk through us. But
Cut out the
exactly.
That's a
middleman.
good way to meet people.
Which is not gonna be fun. But money. Oh man, the stories I have from there. Like the lady who walked up behind me. I was working self checkout, so it was normal for people to come up behind me. This lady walks up behind me and puts her hand on my lower back and then talked in my ear like she didn't give me a chance to turn around. So she was just talking right in my ear with her hand on my lower back. And that was the most uncomfortable I have ever been. She was just whispering those sweet, sweet whispers into your ear.
Why can't people keep their
I
hands? to
fucking hate
themselves?
people.
It's
like
definitely
that.
a generational thing.
What is
Definitely a
people's
generational thing. Like
problem?
older people definitely like don't have this
They really
notion
do.
of like
Don't
like
touch
body
me.
limits or like boundaries. Like they're more okay with like casual touching. Like my
My dad
mom,
does that.
like my mom and my grandma especially will like do this thing where they're like talking to you and they'll like grab your hand and like continue the conversation.
And also,
like it is a weird way to like lock you into the conversation.
They'll do that, but
It's
they'll
bizarre.
also. You ever do the gesture where they'll have your hand and they'll be looking at someone else and sort of having a conversation with everybody, and they'll be shaking it up and down and sort of patting your hand.
Yes, yeah.
This,
yeah.
it's in for like emphasis. Anyway, I'm gonna read the rest of this now.
It's a weird fucking boomer thing.
Yeah. Anyway, I just got my younger sister into the podcast, and she says, "Yeah, and now I can't fucking stop." That's awesome. Direct quote there, and she's only on episode 6. That's Jesus. So I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. Patrick, stop flicking your lighter. It is so goddamn annoying. My sister has a couple questions though. My sister has a couple questions though. What's the question that you get asked the most, and what question annoys you the most? Don't be a smartass and say this one. Yaman, you want to say this one? Okay. Cool.
No.
What questions do you get asked the most, and what question annoys you the most?
We get asked a lot of like college advice or like school advice in general.
I would say that's annoying.
I'm not.
You guys like those questions. You
It's
guys
not
have
annoying.
stuff
Those
to
are
talk
too
about.
yeah.
For me, it's just sort of sitting silently. Not annoying so much as I don't have much to say, because I always love to talk.
Right.
Anyway.
Fuck! I just sent that dog to another group chat.
What are
I'm trying to send you guys the
doing?
picture
What
of
are
this
you-
dog.
You act like it's gonna be the end of the fucking world.
No, because my friend.
I just said the nuclear codes.
No, the reason I was in that group chat because my friend literally just texted that him and his girlfriend are going on a break, and so the conversation is really serious in there.
Oh no!
And I accidentally
That's
drove
fine.
Just
a
say it's an
picture
accident, though.
of this
Just
dog.
say
I
it's an
did say,
accident. Okay,
I did say, fuck, sorry, wrong chat. Ignore the dog.
That's so...
Jesus, worst
no.
timing ever. Anyway, here's the
She's
picture of
leaving
the
me.
dog.
Anyways, here's the
Dude,
dog.
check out this fucking festive dog.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Anyways,
the most annoying question? Anything about Vine. And the most questions I get are about Vine. So go hand in hand.
questions asking you if you're over Vine or gonna do
Anything
Vine
about
too.
Vine. Sorry this email is so long, and for the lack of punctuation and the just general lack of any structure whatsoever. There's a lot of structure. Come on.
Good
Give yourself
structure.
some little credit.
Good structure.
Anyway, anywho, keep up the good work, my dudes. Aaron, for the Patreon saying last name thing, I don't care if you say my last name or not because there's so many Aaron Kellys in the world. Also, here's my dog.
Cute dog.
Oh,
question.
she looks like a little person.
The
looks like one of
like
the dogs from,
the back of the sofa in the background almost makes it look like your dog has her feet up behind her.
It does kind of look like that.
Like yeah, it's weird.
Like an 80s teen movie where one girl's on the phone looking at a magazine.
Exactly what I'm thinking about. Yep. Annoying questions. We get a lot of college and high school stuff, but I don't think that's like necessarily annoying. It's just like a frequent thing. I don't like to say anything is annoying because like I appreciate anyone like writing in at all. Something.
I can't think of anything.
When people, no, I'm not even annoyed at that. I'm like rarely annoyed. Like it takes me a lot to get flat out annoyed. I'll shift the question and say questions that I feel bad about are questions.
Is there a lifeguard thing in here?
More lifeguard questions. The things that I do. Whenever you get questions about things that I don't feel like I'm an actual authority on, I do feel bad about answering those. Like literally the question we just got from Thomas about how he should come out to people. Like that's never a situation I've like had to deal with. So like here's my shitty like take on what you should do from a person who will never have to do that. Like that's the kind of stuff I feel bad about, but I'm never annoyed.
Be open-minded.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for your email, Aaron, and cute dog. I'm sure my friend who's going through a tough time in his love life will appreciate that. Do we have any more? Like these are kind of no, we're good. Yaman, do you have any YouTube comments you wanted to bring up, or was that it? They were just
like
fucking
you guys
tired.
sound tired
Okay,
as shit.
cool.
You sound like you
Cool,
want to
cool,
die
cool,
and hate
cool,
your lives. And
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, were you looking at something? Were you doing something?
No, I had it on all inboxes, and a bunch of stuff from like 3 years ago about lifeguarding was in the Prude chest, and I was like, what the fuck?
All right, then. Yeah, this episode is fucking 2 hours. This might be the longest episode ever.
Beef.
So, good job.
It's a good one, though.
Episode.
It's a good one. Action-packed.
So thank you again for listening, guys. As always, if you want to send us any of those emails, any fan art, whatever, you can send that shit to prudedudes@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram @prudedudes. If you want to follow us individually on Twitter, I'm at AlexPenda97. Patrick is at PatrickShelter5, and Yaman is at its_Yaman. If you would also like to donate any of your spare change, any of your dirty, tetanus-ridden pennies
Come on 'em.
towards our cause, we also have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/PrudeDudes. We are currently supported by a number of lovely patrons whose names I have pulled up right in front of me. We have... I just need to... There we go. We have Cassidy. We got David. We got Aaron. We've got Everso Joe. We've got Jake. We got Katie. We got Marianne. We got Monty. We got Pip Pap Scallywab, Rebecca, Tara, Vanessa, and Yeska. Thank you all so much for your incredible patronage. You guys are amazing. So, again, if you'd like to become a patron and get your name read out or a special thank you email, make sure you subscribe or donate at patreon.com/PrudeDudes. And if there's anything else, go follow us on Spotify, rate the show on iTunes, leave us a review. If it's funny, we'll read it out loud. And other than that, we'll see you guys again next week.
Bye-bye.